Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Becoming the 1% podcast. My esteemed guest today is Andrew Zaragoza. He is the operator and co-host of the Mark Bell Power Project podcast. So honored to have him on here today. Talk about his startup, how he got involved with Mark, what the podcast experience is like on their end, the topics that they cover, and just overall health and fitness and what his journey has been like. Also, they are actually involved with one of my favorite companies. This is Shama. They are a barefoot sandal, and right now they have actually released a collaboration power project variation on Shama sandals. These should be out by the time this episode drops. Go to markbell.com, and that's where you'll find these.
I love it.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Dude, again, thank you so much for this opportunity. Dude, this is so cool that, like, I don't want to say I manifested it, but I was like, dude, that studio's so nice. I'm like, I need to drop a comment. And when I drop this comment, hopefully he's going to end up being like, hey, you should be on the show.
Uh-huh.
And then I checked my DMs a little bit later because, like, you commented, and I was just like, oh, my God, it worked. And here I am, you know? And so it's so cool that, like, just this, I think, will be, like, the theme of, like, our conversation is I'm a normal-ass dude, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even, like, subpar, okay? But here I am. I traveled from California to Arizona to come be on this fucking, sorry about cussing, be on this amazing podcast. And it's like, dude, the old cliche, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It, like, I'm the perfect example of that. And now I just, like, kind of, like, brushed my ego way down. But, like, it's just what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm more like everybody else listening than some of the killers that you're going to have on and that you've already had on.
Sure.
And so, again, just thank you guys all. Eli, thank you guys so much for, like, you know, inviting me out here. Because it does mean a lot, you know? Like, it's not every day that I get such a cool opportunity like this.
For us too, man.
Yeah.
And I want to say as well, I almost sent you a text message about this before this started, but I wanted to wait and have the conversation in person. It's really fun and kind of serendipitous to see it come full circle, because when I first reached out to you, you got me on Power Project. This was now over a year ago.
Yeah, it was some time ago.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
And I just think that it is so cool and rewarding just to see the what has happened in that time and how now it has come all the way back around, and now we have the opportunity to have you on. And it was an easy choice on our end to want to get you on the guest list and get you in here, man.
I appreciate that.
I want to hear, to start this off, I want to hear a little bit about your journey. I know people see you from social media. You are a large part of Power Project and what it's become. I want to know, what were you doing before that? How did you get hooked up with Mark, and kind of what's been going on since then? Yeah,
no, dude. Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me, because, you know, it's obviously we have Mark Bell. All right, everybody, he's a legend. And then we have Nsima Iyang, who is, I mean, he's on his way to becoming a legend. And then I can definitely get lost in the mix of things, but they will always bring me back up. And what's funny is, like, Mark is always telling me how the questions that I ask is kind of like the questions that the general population would want to ask, because they're pretty far removed from where I came from, which is where I can get into now. But before Mark Bell, before any of this, I was a regular ass dude. I had a desk job that I absolutely hated.
I can relate,
dude. I would go to work and put my life on pause for 8 hours a day. So, like, it was in the medical outfield. It wasn't even in the medical field. I was just doing medical records.
Yeah.
The most mundane thing. You, like, check someone's MRN number. Yep, that's who they are. That's their name. They went for physical therapy. This is a physical therapy doc. Cool. All right, pass it through.
One small thing, bro. I want to.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No. It's totally fine. Anything like this.
Yep. Oh, I know.
Pick up.
Yeah.
Continue.
That's the nerves talking there.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So one day I noticed, I was just like, dude, if I disappeared, nobody would even notice. That is, like, the worst feeling ever, to realize that what you're doing is not impacting the world. And so, like, at that time, I was listening to a lot of Joe Rogan. So I was into podcasts before I was into any kind of content creation. I forgot who Joe Rogan had on the podcast, but they were like, yeah, there's somebody right now, they're listening to this podcast in their cubicle. They hate life. All they want to do is anything but what they're doing. And I'm like, oh my God, he's literally talking about me right now.
Can you believe it?
Yeah. And at that time, I had a little bit of content creation under my belt. I used to film a lot of rap videos, just because of the people I was around.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I can send you some stuff later.
Yeah.
But It's because like I just needed stuff to film and they just happen to always be around. But the thing about like unsigned rappers is they don't have any money. So there was no money involved, right? It was always just like, let me see what the next job can be, and so on and so forth. And the highlight of that career was I worked with Stickman from Dead Prez. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but we actually had him on the podcast as well.
Oh, sick.
But again, didn't really pay anything. And so I was like, dang, like this sucks. So that kind of like dwindled down. And so I ended up like, oh, I got to, work like a normal job. But then hearing that Joe Rogan thing, I was like, no, like I have to get into this. So I switched my camera over to stills, right? Cause like, DSLRs these days, you can do both. So I started taking still images. And then next thing I realized, I was like, whoa, people will pay a lot of money for like a little bit of work here. It's like, I need to get really good at this.
Yeah.
So I went to, I'm pretty sure you guys all went to this college. I went to YouTube University.
Yeah.
So I went straight there and I started learning how to shoot photos and how to do portraits and stuff. Wasn't really good at it, but early on you wouldn't charge much of anything. And so you would get clients pretty cheap. And then portraits led into wedding photography. And wedding photographers, I think they get a lot of respect, but I don't think they get enough because everyone's there for the wedding party, right? Like everyone's there for this big day, this bride. It's her, one, day that she's been dreaming about forever.
Yeah.
Well, the wedding party and that whole family, they are all looking at you. You are now running the show as just a photographer. And if they have a wedding planner, you kind of like have like a back and forth. But if you mess up in front of all these people, you're never going to get hired again. You're going to get a bad reputation. And photography is the only like artistic thing that you can get sued for. So
really,
if you hire, if you hire me for your wedding and I miss the first kiss, I miss like the first dance, or all hell breaks loose and I lose the SD card and I can't deliver, you can sue me for not only what you paid, but also in like emotional damage and shit.
Oh, thank
That's
goodness
some
I
pressure.
only film. Oh my god.
Dude, so there's like no other art that you can get sued if you suck at it.
That's insane.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know,
Never knew
dude.
that.
So diving headfirst into that, it like really got me out of my comfort zone. So like I was always like super introverted, but here I am directing an entire family on like how to pose and like what to do and like, hey, like we're running out of time. Like we have to do X, Y, and Z because you guys are going to leave soon or the DJ's leaving or whatever. So like you have to basically run the show as the photographer. Yeah. And like nobody really knows about that. So anyways, fast forward a little bit, I started getting more and more gigs. Like I would do like portrait sessions left and right. Like every weekend I was working. I would work 8 to 5, 5:01 till like 2 in the morning. I'm working on photography. Yeah. Like that's all I did. So that's why I said like when I'd clock in for work, I would be putting my life on pause because it's not what I wanted to do. It was not getting me closer to my dream job of just being a photographer. Fast forward, my wife, well, she was my girlfriend at the time, but my wife now, she was like, oh my gosh, Ashley Horner is going to be in West Sacramento. I was like,
yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
Dude, she's the best.
She's great.
She's so shredded right now. I don't
Is
know.
she?
Dude, she's ridiculous
She
right
got
now.
a show coming up?
I think she just did a show, but like she's held on to the leanness.
Oh, we should have her in here.
Dude, she's
Like
she's super nice too. Yeah.
Sick.
I don't have a connection. I can ask Mark. Maybe I can relay that
Yeah.
info to you guys. But anyways, my wife was following her for a very long time. She's like, oh my God, she's in West Sacramento. And when she said West Sacramento, I was like, at Super Training? Like the place from Bigger, Stronger, Faster? How do I even get there? Because like you hear like the lure of the place is like, oh, if you're a competing power lifter, you can come lift, but like you can't be a little bitch about it. And so I was always like nervous to go in there. But I'm like, well, hey, she's doing a seminar, like maybe this is my opportunity to go.
Yeah.
And so this was, like I said, like a Friday night of not knowing this seminar was going to happen to Saturday morning when like we're there. So it was like a matter of like, oh shit, we almost didn't go. So we went there and I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, Mark's going to be like swarmed with fans. I'm like, okay, if I get an opportunity where he's by himself, I'm just going to look to see if there's another revenue stream here where like if powerlifters need photos taken. Keep in mind, I have zero experience with the sport of powerlifting at the time. So I'm thinking in my head, like, well, bodybuilders, right when they're getting ready to compete, like I know they get photos taken. maybe power lifters right before they compete or jump on the platform, they need photos taken.
Yeah.
Not knowing that that's probably when they look the grossest.
Yeah.
You know, they're either like depleted, feeling like shit, or they're just trying to get super fat.
Mark 1.0.
Yeah.
This is back when he was
He
like
was a thickie.
He was a thick dude.
He was going for 600 at the time.
Good.
So yeah. So he was a big boy. Excuse me. So anyways, we're at the seminar. It's cool. You know, I'm seeing, you know, Ashley Horner and a couple of other names aren't coming to me. Maybe they'll come to me later. And I was just like, damn, this is cool. Like, it'd be so cool to like be in this environment all the time. So Mark was alone, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, all right, you said you're gonna do it. Like, you got to step up and actually, you know, step up to the plate and try to hit this home run. So I met Mark, and I was just like, dude, a huge fan of Bigger, Stronger, Faster. Chris Bell at the time had just gone on Rogan. And I was like, dude, your brother on Rogan was dope. Like, that's really cool. And I can't believe you guys are right here in Sacramento. And then he's like, oh, yeah, cool. And then I was like, hey, but I'm a photographer. And I was wondering, do powerlifters ever need photos taken? So I shot my shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. Powerlifters don't need photos taken. And so I'm like, oh, dude. Like,
womp, womp.
Yeah. At least
Jake, you want to hit the fridge?
So I was like, well, dang, at least I got out of my comfort zone, like way out of my comfort zone. Because my comfort zone, I say, was the size of a dime. Like, and I never like to get out of it. But I'm like, here I am. I put myself out there. I asked. I got a rejection, but like, oh well. He responds with, powerlifters don't need photos taken, but I need a photographer. I don't have an in-house photographer. Can I get your card or something? And I was like, yes, sir. I try to stay calm, and I'm like, you know, here's my card, which at the time I was trying to hand out to as many people as possible. So I used a Google Voice number that didn't connect to my phone.
Great.
Smart man.
Dude, but like I thought it did, but it didn't like make the connection for whatever reason.
Great.
So by some miracle, Mark never writes emails, but he reached out to the email address I put on there, and he's like, hey, I'm trying to text you, but it's going to someone else. So can you please like give me a call at this number?
Oh, wow. He made an effort.
He made an effort.
Yeah.
Dude. That is like when people talk about like, oh, it's just luck or whatever. It's not just luck. Like, I will consider myself the most luckiest man ever because he does not write emails. Like, he never gets into his inbox ever.
Yeah.
So he sent the email, and I responded. I was like jumping through the roof. I couldn't believe, like, here's Mark Bell freaking sending me a text or an email, and then we start texting and stuff. And so after that, I remember they used a couple images that I took at that event, and I was just like on top of the world. I was like, I can't believe like this is actually like happening. This is so cool. Like, I thought I was gonna get like a couple new followers and like maybe a couple paid gigs at Super Training.
Sure.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what happened was he told me to come in to talk to him like the following weekend or something.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, all I had was wedding, you know, portraits of like, you know, couples and stuff. I had no fitness anything. But like I said, at the time, I was taking any gig possible, so I would do housewarming parties. It was a thing. Literally,
what kind of a person photographs their housewarming party? What kind of a sick person
right?
does that?
Psychopath.
To be fair,
I hired a photographer. I'd be like, you're a dick.
That's so funny. So to be fair, it was the real estate agent that helped the couple like close on the house.
Yeah,
that actually makes way more sense.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
He would thank them and throw them like a big party.
Sure.
So that's where he would hire me.
And he would get to use the content for his future house.
Yeah. You come from that like department, right? Like back in the day? Like
from real estate.
Yeah.
So, I used to be his photographer.
That's
Talk about full circle.
Oh,
that's
dude,
amazing.
that was a weird time.
It was a weird
Sometimes
time.
I even forget that I did that.
Yeah.
Like, that was, oh, man. And like you, I mean, that was my experience with something where I did it for the paycheck. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I was unhappy. And that, got out of that. Totally new life.
Yeah.
I forgot that I even did that.
That's so funny. I know when I asked it, I was like, oh shit, was that somebody else? Like, oh,
No, that was,
I've got
great
video
memory. Did
and
I mention it on the
photographic proof.
podcast?
I did a little bit of research.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Checked all your RedTube videos, all that. So anyway, one of the housewarming parties that I did was for a owner of a CrossFit box, And at that time, I didn't think anything of it, but I was like, hey, it'd be cool if I came into your guys' gym and just like shot photos for free. Like, I just want more experience.
Yeah.
So after I met Mark, I was like, shit, the next time I talk to him, I need to show him that I can do this, because I knew I had the skills, but I just didn't have like the subjects.
Yeah.
So I reached out to that couple, and I'm like, hey, can I come in like pretty soon? And like, I'll do like whatever you guys want, but like, I just need a couple shots that I want to work on. And then like, I'll cover whether it's trainers or the gym members or whatever, we'll have a good time. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much. So I took a bunch of like really cool pictures. Like they're like legit, right? So when I showed Mark that, he was just like, oh, okay, I guess you know what you're doing. Can you come in next Tuesday and we'll start shooting some stuff? And so I did that for, I want to say it was like a month and a half.
Okay.
And I never once asked for money, because in my head, I'm like, the worst case scenario is I get to hang out with some really cool people and I have a really cool addition to my portfolio that could lead to something else.
Yeah.
But my work was going to change, my work schedule. So I was working Monday through Friday. I was going to end up working like a weird thing where I'd have to work like a weekend day every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And so I told Mark that. I'm like, hey, dude, like, I know we shoot a lot like Saturday, Sunday, but I'm going to not be available pretty soon. So like, we'll have to figure something out. And Mark is such a cool dude, but he'll do stuff like this where I told him that, and he was like, well, we're not going to have to worry about that much longer. And it got just as quiet as it did right now. And he walks away. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, did I just get a job, or
did I just get fired?
or does he never like want to see me again?
Seriously.
And Mark is one of those dudes that he's a juggernaut. He just kept going, and I'm like, fuck, he's getting ready for like, like a 500-pound bench, and I'm just like, well, I can't interrupt him as he's.
We're not going to need to worry about that much longer. Just walk away.
Yeah.
So what the hell happened?
So I want to say like the very next weekend he gave me a call, and he was just like, hey dude, I want to offer you a full-time job. And at that time, and this is not because Mark's cheap, it's just I've known him for so long that the payment that he offered me was like half of what I was making. And I was like, whoa, dude, that's very low. I was like, I don't even know if I can swing that right now. Okay. And he just reassured me. He's like, make yourself valuable. He's like, and you're going to double that like instantly. So I'm like, shit. So had to go to my wife, and I'm like, hey, like, I think we can get by, like, because she was working at the time. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's going to be tough. I'm like, maybe I can pick up a different job also. And she's just like, no, like, this is your dream. You need to go pursue this right now. So with her backing me up.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
she's the best. That's why I married her.
Yeah.
I told Mark I accepted it, and dude, not the rest is history, because there's a lot of shit in there, because I came in as just a photographer, ended up being a videographer, ended up, Photoshop, so you can do some of our like graphic design. Thankfully, I didn't do that for very long because I was not very good at it. But you start just making yourself more valuable, right? Like, I ended up becoming this guy right here. Like I found myself seeing windows of opportunities and like not holding back and just diving head first. The podcast was a whole different thing, because at the time I was trying to just be the hardest worker in the room.
How did the podcast come to be?
Yeah.
Was that going on before you came on, or was that something you helped create?
No. So previously it was called Mark Bell's Powercast, which had...
I remember that.
Dude, that was a huge podcast, right? Mm-hmm. So that was like a huge mountain to try to like... or big shoes to fill, put it that way.
They stood around that round table thing. I
Yeah,
remember it.
Yeah, we blacked it out, and that's still the same table that we use.
That is, isn't it? I'm like, wait a minute, it changed because the backdrop's totally different now.
Yeah, everything's
Don't you guys
different.
you have like one of these? You have like an LED Mark Bell thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the light just went out on it too. Oh, that's so annoying.
Did it really?
I don't know what happened. Yeah, hopefully we'll get it fixed before the next one.
Stinks.
I know, it's a bummer.
Well, if you want, that company is really good. They can make, this one's really kind of a simple design.
Yeah,
they can do a lot of
all right,
really
I'll have to get
elaborate
that
things.
info.
No, definitely. What is their... they're going to hate me so much. They did send that to
Insert text on the bottom of the screen.
Oh,
right
boy.
now.
It'll come to me. I'll get it back out.
Yeah, so anyway, so the Powercast was going on, and I used to just try whatever the hell I could to like ease my way into working for the podcast. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, you know what, guys, it'd be cool if we had like behind the scenes like photos. Are you guys cool with me? Oh, of course, absolutely. oh, it'd be cool if we took like fan questions and I asked them on air. And dude, I'll have to find it. I don't remember what episode it was of the Powercast, but I did. And like, I'm like, I can't speak. Like my voice was cracking. Like I couldn't even read. I'm like shaking, you know. The producer at that time was like trying to get me on mic, and I'm like I kept falling off,
trailing
and
away.
he's just like, dude, you got to get close. So I was terrified, but that's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I remember early on,
You've got a really good voice for this.
Thank you,
by the
sir.
way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
seriously,
I appreciate
because like I don't know,
Mhm.
like Ensema operates up here, and then Mark's kind of here, and then you're just like right in this nice sweet zone.
Trying
And,
to
like
just-
it brings it back in as if it's an actual interview, and
Oh,
it sounds a lot
fancy that.
more.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. So the Powercast kind of came to a closing, and no, let me back it up a little bit more. So what happened was the Powercast was going to basically change the way that the podcast was ran, and I just looked at the manpower. There's literally like the number of people working on the podcast, and I'm like, there's no way that can be done with just this many people. So I told Mark, I'm like, hey, dude, like, it would be great if I could just be the guy that clicks the buttons and make sure that the podcast doesn't explode. You know, kind of like what you're doing right now, Eli. Like just kind of back here. Like, I'm not even going to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to make sure that we hit record.
The operator.
Yes.
Yeah, the operator.
That was it.
And people don't understand what goes into doing that.
There's a
Being
lot,
the
dude.
operator, and I mean that I knew nothing. None of us. We knew nothing about this.
YouTube University.
Shout out to you, by the way, because you're the one who told you, like, hey, is that a
Yeah, your board.
the board, yeah.
The 810
Yeah.
Mini Extreme.
Oh, it's awesome. And we could talk. You could do a podcast about a podcast creation.
Yeah.
You could do a whole series on that.
Oh, dude, I thought about creating the podcast, like just to fuck around and talk about podcasts.
Hey, that's a great
There are
idea.
a lot of people
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
definitely watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have watched it. I would have turned that on and watched it because the number of times this had to go wrong in order to go right by not knowing, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
And you can have the best equipment in the whole world, but if you don't understand how to sync it and get it all together, this wasn't quick or easy.
Yeah, and then Eli, you'll understand this, but there's times where like we're going. I definitely hit record, and then we're going, and I'm like, oh shit, did I hit record? And you get that like, dude, my skin's raising right now. Like you get that weird like cold chill, like, oh my god, I didn't hit record, and you okay, like I can see the counter going. I hit record. It's so dumb, but if that ever happens, it's like your life is over. Like,
Well, not just that. I mean, I actually had an instance where I thought I hit record, and then I looked at it, and I was like, that doesn't look correct. Like, the red and green should both be on.
yeah,
Only the red is, but the clock is go. And I was like, I'm not going to risk it. We're 5 minutes in the interview. It's better
Yeah.
to cut it off now, restart versus wait till the end, and then
Or how about-
my fears be correct.
You and I, have you ever seen the very first go at this? Our very first
no,
attempt?
no, I have not.
Lawn,
Don't watch, please.
lawn chairs and a fold-up table in
Oh,
the
dude,
gym.
I love that.
I love it now because it's great content.
Yeah.
We redid the first episode 3 times in a row.
Oh,
yeah,
Because of
yeah.
technical difficulties.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
each time we're like trying to make it seem organic. Like it just so wasn't.
It's like, dude, you forgot to ask me the question about that spontaneous thing. You got to do it now.
Laugh.
Yeah,
Laugh.
yeah. Oh, dude, that's tough. I know. Yeah, but dude, to me, like, I love that. It's like sometimes we'll go on location,
Yeah.
and like I'll just have the road, not that
the
board.
external
No. The what the hell? The Roadcaster.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, we have one.
The first version, right? They came out the second one. I don't even know what the difference is, but like we'll just have that handheld mics and then like some headphones, and like we'll be in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And to me, like when you can hear people like in the like, dude, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, dude. Like this is legit. Like this is the setup, right? This is like the goal right here. What you guys have.
Oh, and the permanency of it is the
Yes,
best part.
yes.
The fact that you just come in here, turn the cameras
hit
on,
record,
and it
yes.
goes. Because it took us an hour of setup and an hour of teardown every
yeah.
time.
Minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, I also agree with you. I think there is a beauty and simplicity when it comes to podcasts. If you can do it anywhere if it's just like one click
Yeah.
and you're going. I mean, you don't have to have this crazy of a setup, but I would be curious, like if you were giving advice to someone who's never done a podcast before, doesn't really know if they want a permanent setup or a setup that they can take anywhere and go, what are like the 3 or 5 things that they need to be successful?
Oh man, yeah. Okay. Well, we can start with what everyone has right now. Literally everybody in this room and everybody listening, because you're currently using it to listen, and that's your iPhone. Like you can start a whole podcast using just your phone. Is it going to sound as good as this? No. Is it going to do what it needs to do? Yes. You know, an iPhone and Anchor.fm and like the wired headphones, and you can start talking right there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the exciting thing that everybody wants to hear. So what I would recommend is for sure the Rodecaster, just because it's so simple to use.
Yeah.
That one there, the Zoom
L8.
that one is a little bit more complicated, but if you have some understanding of how this stuff works, that's actually like the really good go-to right there, because you have so many more inputs and you have a lot more.
We have 8. Is there 8 inputs on the L8?
I think there's 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's really nice. The Rodecaster only has 4, but it's so easy. It's just plug and play, boom, 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 done. You can record straight to it if you want to, or you can loop it up into your computer and record that way. And then as far as microphones, I really like the Samson Q2U. It's basically a Shure SM58.
Okay.
But it has the ability to plug in via USB also. So like if you're doing a lot of Zoom interviews, highly recommend this. It sounds like Samsung, but it's Samsung Q2U.
Man, how'd they get away with that?
I don't know. I don't know which
Seems
one
like-
came first.
yeah.
With that being said, I just learned something new. You're saying that this can actually connect directly to your computer, and you can like have the volume on there directly.
I believe so.
Okay.
I know you can on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
should
can, I
be
can
able
see
to.
a little plug-in thing right there. You can just.
There's probably a lot with that we still don't know how to do. I know you can hook up your phone and make calls through
Yeah.
that as well and record
Yeah,
the
that's-
call
that's
while live, hearing the call in here.
Oh, wow.
Don't know how, but I know it's possible.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah, you
someone
can.
do it.
Yeah. Let's see. So we got the audio, so microphone, and then the Blackmagic ATEM switcher for cameras. Even if you're only going to run one camera, it just makes it so seamless to just plug it in and plug in straight to the computer. So another thing you can do is you can run the Zoom into the Blackmagic ATEM switcher. So that way all the inputs just come in from that into the computer.
Got it.
There could potentially be a delay, but you can kind of skew that and most people won't even notice. You and I will notice right away, but for the most part, you won't notice.
And do you recommend OBS when you're recording? Because that's what I use.
Yeah, OBS is fine. Yeah, OBS is good because it's free and it's pretty painless. That's actually what I got Sean Baker on. So this whole setup that I just explained, minus the he uses these microphones too, but I set it up at his place.
The Shure SM7s.
Yeah, the SM7s plus the Rodecaster plus the ATEM switcher, and that's what he uses to run his like YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
And like so that was like one of those things where like I wish I had this much creativity, but like I was like this one small room that was like shaped oddly, did what we could, and I did it all in like 48 hours, so that was pretty cool. And he likes it, and it sounds great, and so it was another cool experience to just go out there and do it. And he's like, oh, if you want to do this more, I can like send the flyers out there as if people want their own podcast studio.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't think I want to do this very often. Like I'll do it for friends, and that's really why I did it for him, because he's a homie. But I would rather kind of have like an instruction manual or an ebook or something to be like, oh, if you guys wanted to get started, like maybe I could have like sped up your process by telling you what to get. Like I'd rather do that. And then
Dude, create a a full-on program.
Yes.
Sell it like instructional guides, and you with a PowerPoint and all the
Yeah,
different
So that's kind of been in the works for a little bit.
Heck
So
yeah.
I have the skeleton, but dude, just I keep making up excuses why.
And you've got such a good name for this exact thing because you run one of the most successful fitness podcasts in the world. I mean, it's already, your reputation's already there. It doesn't need to be on the line.
Yeah, so in the skeleton that I have written down, I get to easily put like, this is the microphone we use at Mark Bell's Power Project, or this is what we use on the road for Mark Bell's Power Project. So there's a lot of weight there.
Yeah.
I forgot how we even got into all this, but so we got audio, video. I think that's it, right? Like we're all good there.
And the software,
Yeah, in software I use Adobe Premiere for like edit, or Adobe Audition for like more like editing and stuff. I'm not sure if you do that as well, but
Use Final Cut.
Yeah,
right?
I use Final Cut Pro.
okay,
That's just where I've found my workflow to be efficient.
Yeah. Whatever works. I mean, they all do what you need. As long as the levels sound good and there's no like dogs barking in the background, like you're all good. So there was that, and then I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And so
cameras. Any suggestion on the types of cameras to use?
I prefer camcorders. I know it's like kind of old school now, but like they're very reliable, and they most of the time they have a wide range to zoom in and out of. These cameras are great though, because you can create that cool depth of field look.
Yeah.
Which is like I mean, that's top tier stuff right there. I really like that. But the ones that we use, and we have so many, like, it's just so nice to flip back and forth, and they're just so reliable.
Yeah.
And then being on the road, if I need to run off of battery, I can. It's so easy to do.
Right.
So that's,
I think these do these run off battery? They do, right?
Yeah.
They do.
yeah. Yeah, and you can easily just put like, see, and that's the other thing. So like you can run like the Phantom battery and then plug that into a wall.
Uh-huh.
So not sure if you guys do that. So like,
I've heard of it. We haven't. No.
okay, so that's why like I like camcorders, because you can just like plug in straight to the wall or an outlet, and it runs forever.
Forever,
You know,
yeah.
You never have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So that's what I really like. And then just real quick, like this isn't an ad. I don't even use Anchor.fm, but like when it comes to publishing, even when I just started, I don't even know what year it was, but let's say 800 episodes ago,
Yeah.
when Mark Bell's Power Project took off, you had to like you had to apply to be on Spotify. You had to like run your RSS feed into iTunes to get it on iTunes, and you had to get approved for it.
Yeah.
Now you just go to Anchor.fm, and it's like, do you want to be on iTunes? Yeah. Do you want to be on Spotify? Video? Yeah. Okay. Click here. And, oh, you're done.
Anchor.fm.
Well,
I have heard of that.
I'll
There was another.
plug them. That's what we use.
Yeah.
We use Anchor.
Yeah, we use Anchor to go to Spotify.
Yeah. That's
So-
how you guys got video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our videos are on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. I didn't even know that. I've
Yeah.
heard of this before.
Yeah, I'm so glad Brandon's taking an
What is
active
this
role. in that
Spotify
one.
you speak of?
In all seriousness,
so good.
do you find it at all odd do you enjoy watching yourself on your podcast, or does it bug you?
I'm torn, because I am very proud of what we do at the podcast, and I am very proud that I have a voice, and whatever it is I'm speaking on, I'm not gonna like bullshit and just like throw shit at the wall and hope something sticks.
Sure.
It's usually something that I have like good knowledge on.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of that, and so when I go back and look at it, I'm like, oh, dude, that's really cool. I can't believe I'm here. But it is very awkward. It's like, oh, dude, why am I so slouched over? Like, why does my voice?
Why did it cut
sound
straight
that
from
way?
Ensema to me?
Yeah, and I'm the guy that makes the cuts, so I'm like, why did I do that?
Oh shit!
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the awkwardness it goes away pretty quickly, but it never officially goes away. I think it's just kind of like, oh fuck, like okay.
I mean, 800 episodes. You gotta get more comfortable in it,
Yeah.
in the skin of the whole thing. And it is funny because we've only done it together here now. In this, how long have we done? Have we done 7, 8 episodes in here since we started the new place?
In here we have done from Eleanor to now. We're probably close to like 6 or 7.
7 or 8. But finding the flow of the dynamic of all three of us, because we could never do 3 before.
Yeah.
We would occasionally all team up in there, but doing it in here, we're still kind of finding our groove. But what I'm finding is that it's not even just the technology that you have to make a good podcast work. It has to be a good matching of the personality traits.
Absolutely.
You can't have... I feel like Ensema and I kind of operate on the same wavelength. Like we're very, very, very up. You can't have 3 people all on that Ensema wavelength. You have to have like Jake and
That
Eli.
would be so interesting to watch, though.
I feel like
Just
it would
2
get
Brandons
obnoxious.
and 2 Ensema
No.
just yelling at each other.
So the only
You'd end up with hang on, I think you say what you were gonna say.
no, I was gonna say the only podcast that I've seen that's been very successful doing it is Smart List with Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes. Great podcast. If you've
sounds
never
interesting.
listened to it, it's hysterical.
It's funny.
Yeah.
You think they're on the same wavelength? Will
Jason
Arnett,
Bateman's
Jason-
a little like more.
I think he's sort of more monotone.
Yeah,
like,
monotone.
Oh my God, I just speak like this. Like he's got a very, and Will Arnett is.
They both have a high energy. I don't know, but
I know what to do. Like the difference between the two. There's a little difference. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna reference. Is it who's the guy who just got kicked off everything? Is it Andrew Tate or what's his name?
Yeah,
What was his podcast? If you feel like all those dudes were just like threat level douchebag midnight at all times, all of them.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the only one I could think of where everybody seems to be on the same wavelength.
Uh-huh. That's so good. No, dude, I think have you guys done solo shows yet without a guest? Where it's just you 3?
No.
Dude, you
No.
guys have to do
We
this.
haven't yet.
No, dude, if you want to talk about like a chemistry builder, like right now, I think I get more excited for the episodes where it's just us because we get to dick around so much more.
Yeah.
There's that, but then also like the people that watch and listen, they're just like, you guys don't even need to bring on a guest anymore. Like we enjoy you guys better than when there's a guest. Which it's I mean, obviously like you're selecting the more flattering comments, right? Especially for this argument.
Sure.
But I think if you guys did at least a few a week just to get like your reps in, or sorry, I'm not sure what the scheduling is right now, but like if you did at least one a week, I should say, to where you guys get the reps in, and then you guys build that chemistry together. And then also what happens is like you understand when he's going to say something, so you kind of like you set it up. And then boom, he dunks the alley-oop, right? Or the same thing over here. Yeah. Or then you'll understand, like, because I know what it's like being behind that desk where you kind of get lost and you're like, oh, I got something to say. Fuck, I missed it.
Yep.
You'll learn.
That's happened like 10 times. I'm like, it's lost.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes you do want to like, my turn. So you'll learn when those like breaks of like, they're short, right? Where you have that little window, you can just kind of butt in. And then also like you'll learn your like physical mannerisms. So like if he's over here and he's touching buttons, he's looking down, but then you look over and he's like this, you're like, oh, what you got? You got something.
Yeah.
You're only going to get that by getting the reps in, right?
You learn the art of conversation in a much more professional manner. I found learning, because when you're outside of this, it's oftentimes easy. You talk over each other. He talks, then I talk, then maybe I just have this point and I want to get it out. And the minute you stop talking, I'm just going to jam it in your face.
Yeah.
But it helps you to learn, like no. You know what I mean? Like you learn to pause and listen to the point of the other person.
Yes.
It's one of the things that I really like, and also one of the things that I noticed the most difference about myself from the beginning to now. It's daunting. I cannot watch myself in the first few episodes. It was terrible. Every other word was every point was never landed. It just isn't. You have to learn this. It's like a muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still trying to get over not saying like every other word. I'm still really bad at that. I'm from Northern California, and so we say like all the time. It's something I've been really focusing on, and when I'm not paying attention, and then I look back at the video of like whatever it is that I was saying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and like I'll get so I said it again, I'll get the voice to text like apps, and I'll read it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 1,000 likes. And this clip is only 15 seconds long. Like, oh my gosh. So I'm trying to get better, but as I said, it's very difficult to get over that. But so we can rewind a little bit before we start talking about podcasting. So I had offered Mark like the I guess my services of running the boards and stuff to be a part of it, because like I said, I knew that there just wasn't enough manpower to be there to run the whole setup the way it was. Because before it was just hit record on the audio side, and then sync everything up later. So
it's exactly what we were doing prior to doing this.
Yeah, it takes so long. And you need somebody like Eli to be able to hit the switcher and be able to hit record and do all the things.
Yes.
They didn't have the manpower. So I told Mark, I think I'm the guy for it. And he's like, okay, cool.
Did he understand what you were proposing to him?
Yeah.
He understood what the switchboard did, like the differences between...
He just understood that there just needed to be someone else to make sure that the podcast didn't crash and burn. And then that podcast went through some changes and ended up becoming Mark Bell's Power Project. Mm-hmm. A total personnel change. And so it was now just Mark searching for a producer and like co-host and stuff. And so I kind of cornered Mark in his office. Like I followed him in, stood right in the doorway, and I was like, I'm still your guy. Like I'm the guy that's going to run the podcast and do everything that you need me to do. And he's like, sick. Now I don't have to find anybody to do it.
Yeah.
As soon as he said that, I was like, oh, I don't know how to do any of this. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Like, all right.
I didn't think you were going to say yes.
Kind of. I was like, maybe he's going to like kind of rebuttal with like, maybe we should get somebody else that you can learn from or whatever. You know,
we're not going to need to worry about that for much longer.
Exactly. Yeah. So he said yes. And then I was like right back to YouTube University to try to figure out how to even publish a podcast and stuff. And Bradley Martin at the time had just started his podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and we really liked his setup. So we actually we asked him if we can borrow his producer to help set ours up. So shout out, his name's Krusty Kev. He's no longer in the business, but he came over and he helped set ours up, the initial studio. And what was interesting was, like, I was just trying to learn as much as I could from him.
Yeah.
But what I ended up learning was that, like, he was still in the process of learning as well. So, like, my knowledge caught up pretty quickly, and then we were learning together.
That's cool.
So learning, like, OBS for live stuff, like, we did so many test runs. Like, oh, it works. Cool. All right, let's do this. And then I just remember the first, like, Q&A was like a live one, and Mark was like, "Yeah, you're just gonna, read me questions." And I'm like, "Oh my god." I turned and looked at Kev, and I was like, "I don't think I can do this." And he's like, "You're gonna be fine, bro. Like, you're gonna be fine." I'm like, "Okay." And that's still available right now on Mark Bell's Power Project. Like, if you scroll way down, and it just was crazy because I'm just sitting there like, okay, becoming a full-time photographer was the dream. Becoming a full-time podcaster was like a wet dream that I never would have ever imagined. And so part of me is super happy about that, but the other part is like, damn, bro, like, you should have dreamed bigger. Like, who knows what else could have happened if you had just a bigger dream instead of like, oh, I'm just going to be a photographer and, work my ass off like 80 hours a week. It's like, no, what if you had imagined, I'm going to podcast every day and have so much fun on the microphone? Who knows where else I could have ended up? Not that I want to be anywhere else.
Sure.
But, like, having like that smaller mindset, because like I said, I grew up super introverted. I remember in 10th grade, my English teacher kicked me out of class. And she pointed at me and she was like, "There's an example of somebody that's going nowhere in life."
Whoa.
Wow.
I know.
That's freaking harsh.
Yeah, screw her.
Seriously. You know her name?
I don't, dude. That's so
Too
funny.
bad. Say it.
I know, dude. I need to like find my yearbook and figure out who that
I
was.
remember all my teachers' names.
Dude, I don't understand that.
They all remember you too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I'll talk to buddies from high school, and they're like, "Oh, do you remember so and so in so and so's class?" I'm like, "No, like, I don't remember any of my teachers' names."
I remember like one teacher's name, I think, maybe.
Yeah,
Did you guys, public school, both of you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, I mean, we went to Christian school, so it was a
Okay.
bit more small class, a little bit more intimacy with the teachers. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why I remember. I probably wouldn't remember them either if I went to public school.
Yeah, well, I mean, shit, good for you guys, because, like, I went to a school in a small town called Woodland, so it's just outside of Sacramento, so a little bit just down the road, and it's just small country town where everybody knows your business before you even know it.
Sure.
It's like I couldn't wait to get out of there, so
bet.
I moved, further south, but yeah, dude, I remember she said that and just thinking like, damn, am I gonna be a loser? Like,
Damn.
like, oh, this sucks. Like that weird feeling of like, oh, she said that, and on top of that, like, I'm failing all my classes. Like, this is like, I hate school, but I have to be in school. Like, and then I have to go to college. Like, I'm not going to college. Like, this is dumb. And I just, so since then, I like I said, like, I wasn't supposed to even be here. Like, literally, like, here right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be that guy. Like, I don't have this crazy, like, oh, my parents like disowned me, or I don't have like this crazy traumatic story. I just have this story of a kid that liked sports but was too lazy to play them, so I played video games, right? Like after like 8th grade, all the kids got bigger, stronger, faster than me, so instead of like trying to equal that, I'm like, well, shit, that's really hard. I'm just gonna go play Madden because I'm way better at everybody else in that, versus playing like basketball where everyone's kicking my ass. I'm gonna go do that.
Sure.
I always took the easy route. And
When did that really change? Because it has. When did that happen?
when I was about 27 and I got divorced.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was out of shape, super unhappy, and I was like, I have to get in shape because I need to attract another mate. Like, I can't be this like skinny fat slob, right? Because I had like, dude, Mike Wazowski was my body type, right? So I had skinny, super skinny arms, skinny legs, but a big old beer belly because I used to just drink nonstop because I was so unhappy with like the way my life was.
Yeah.
So I ended up I just started running. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, running sucks. I'm gonna do the hardest thing I can think of. So I started running, and not a good runner at all. Like, I couldn't do a mile nonstop or anything. I could do maybe a lap without dying. And then what ended up happening is I met a chick, and she was into CrossFit. So I'm like, oh, that's I heard of CrossFit. I would love to do that someday. Oh, you should come train with me and my coach on the weekends. Like, all right, cool. That chick ended up being my wife.
Right.
You know, so I used the excuse of like CrossFit just to go hang out with her.
Shout out to her for what you said earlier about how she told you to go for it when you were going to make less money. That's not something a lot of partners, male or female, will encourage you to do.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, wives.
Yeah.
I think it's tough for you to literally give up money in pursuit of something that may or may not pan out.
Yeah, and that's with a daughter in the house, right? So it wasn't just us. So it was
more so.
You know, if it's just you and your significant other, shit hits the fan. Oh, we'll move back to wherever, or we'll go back home even.
Sure.
But like you have a daughter, like you don't want to regress. You don't want to like give her anything less. So right, yeah, that was a huge like leap for us. Talk about the leap or whatever.
Yeah,
that was it for us. So anyways, I was, 27 out of shape, met her, started in CrossFit, started really digging it, started like, hey, I think I'm getting a couple bicep veins here and there, this is at 27. So people talk about like, oh, I started lifting at 12 and, because I was getting bullied, this and that. Like, dude, I was so out of shape. I joined the gym for the first time at 27. I'll have to find the images and send them to you guys, but there's a picture of me wearing this like fitted DC shirt that I'd wear all the time because it actually like went around my arms. I'm doing preacher curls and dude, my arms are no bigger than this arm right here. Like I am so skinny. I was like 160 pounds at like 6 feet tall at 27 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I was bad out of shape, but I started really digging the gym. I would watch Hodge Twins on YouTube. I would watch CT Fletcher. I'd watch all these people that like I've now met, which is insane.
Yeah.
And I'd get so fired up and I'd go to the gym and I'd be like, wow, like we're going to do this. And I'd get hurt all the time, but I would be like, no, like, PR or ER, like, let's go. And so like, that's really when stuff started to switch. Because going to the gym, I remember the first day going to the gym, like after signing up and like almost shitting my pants in the parking lot because I was so scared. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, this is dumb. Like, I shouldn't even be here. I did take a pre-workout, which I had no idea, like, even what it really was. And it was like 6 p.m. at night, and here I am taking this hardcore pre-workout. I'm like, whoa, I feel sick, but okay, I'm going to go in here and do this. I just remember being so sore and just being like, oh, man, like, maybe this isn't for me. Like, how is everybody still coming back and getting better? But then you do things the wrong way, and then you figure out how to do them the right way. And
yep.
So, you start to build on that. But what happened was I started, kind of building my body, and I started putting some wins on the scoreboard, or some points on the scoreboard, because before that I had nothing. And then now I'm like, oh, shit, like I actually benched 185, like I remember being pumped to add a quarter on the bar. I'm like, dude, this is really cool. Like, this sucks, but I've been stuck at, 95 pounds or whatever that is, like with the quarter on the bar.
Yeah.
That's terrible, right? What a terrible feeling to be a grown-ass man, almost 30 years old, getting pinned with, 95 pounds on the bar. But when I did it, I was just like, oh my God, like this is so cool. And then, 135 and so on and so forth. But that just one decision to start going to the gym helped build the confidence to like, oh, Brandon, do you guys want some photos taken of your gym or whatever? And then, doing stuff like that to really, like I said, my comfort zone was the size of a dime.
Getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. The gym provides little tiny mountains for us to climb each day. It's just a little something that maybe we dedicate an hour of our day to do. And just if you don't do it, like yesterday, I didn't make it. I missed it. And I just hate it. You get to a point where it totally flips, where you're not like, oh, okay, how am I going to get in there? How am I going to do this? How am I going to, oh, I didn't get in. I didn't do it. I hate that so much. I'm going to do 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
It totally shifts.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And that's such a different perspective from someone like myself. I mean, I'm the example of the person you gave at the beginning. I mean, our dad had us, I was wrestling and rock climbing when I was 6, 7, 8. I started lifting weights when I was 11, 12. So I've kind of always had that as just sort of a backdrop, never as serious as I got when I got out of college, but I was always doing stuff in the gym throughout my whole life. But hearing that had such a profound impact on you as a man, not like as a kid, as a 27-year-old man, to go from, out of shape, divorced, depleted, and sad to totally now you've conquered your body, you've conquered your goals professionally, at least a lot of them professionally, and now you've got a marriage that's happy, a wife that's supportive, and your life is entirely in the other direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, it's cliche, but if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I was the kid with bad grades. I was the lazy kid. I was the kid that would smoke weed or whatever and just be
I can't believe your English teacher said that shit to you.
I know,
that
dude,
is so
bad.
terrible.
I promise you, I am not making that up either.
Teachers can suck. I mean, if anyone hasn't had a bad teacher, you really haven't experienced one of life's great, because it does suck, because they've got, they get this much power, but it really impacts you at that time in your life. You're an 8th grader. What are you going to do if your teacher tells you you're never going to amount to anything? Well, shit, maybe she's right. I mean, she's at least got a job and some semblance of professionalism. How am I supposed to know if I'm ever going to get to that point?
And she's in a leadership position. It's terrible.
Right, yeah. She's somebody else that's supposed to be more supportive, like almost no matter what. Mm-hmm. Here she was talking shit. And then on top of that, my counselor also was like, yeah, we got to get you ready for continuation school. And I was like, isn't that where like people who like can't graduate go, or people trying to get their GED and stuff? Yeah, that's where you're gonna go. I'm like, well, I still have time? Like, I have a whole nother grade to go. Like, what are you saying? I was like, am I mathematically, can I not get enough good grades to graduate? And he's like, no, you're not completely eliminated, but you're not gonna do it. I was like, huh. Okay. Shit.
Dude, do not send your kids to school in Sacramento.
Do not, especially Woodland, California.
Wow.
Don't go there. So that's the stuff that
but I gotta know. I mean, what happened at the conclusion of that? I mean, how she told you you're kicked out. You're not gonna make. What happened? Yeah. How did that all transpire?
I believed them. So instead of what a lot of people that are savages, right, that they'll face adversity, or somebody will say something and they'll be like, I'm going to show you, or they're going to use that as fuel to overcome.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you guys are right. So I'm just going to be a lazy piece of shit and not do anything with my life.
And that sucks.
That is a terrible feeling. And so wanting to never go back to school, having the police show up at my door because they're like, you need to go to school or you're going to get arrested. And like, oh, that really motivates me to go to school. Like, no, come on. Like, there has to be a better way to do this, right? But I believed everyone that had something negative to say about me.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
They can arrest you if you don't go to school?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they come after your parents first, and then they can go after you or something weird like that. But I
didn't know that.
The police officer was in my parents' living room telling me, like, if you don't go to school, you're going to jail. Like, okay, I guess if that's my only option.
Wow.
It's so dumb. Yeah.
Damn. Did you know that?
Partly. I mean, I do think I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I know they can. If
your parents have to consent? Your parents,
dude, I don't know.
Must have to consent to that.
I think if you're not putting your kids in school, I think you can be liable for some legal repercussion. I don't know if do you get arrested, or is that more like a threat?
In that moment, there's a police officer saying you're going to jail.
You don't want to find out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, we didn't have the internet back then, not because the internet didn't exist, but because we just didn't have it at the house. Like,
gotcha.
I couldn't search for it. So, yeah, dude, school. I freaking hated school. But again, going back to the point that I'm trying to make is like, I'm not anything special. I was deemed to be this dumb kid in class. I was deemed to be the kid that's going to go nowhere in class or in life.
Yeah.
And I found something that I'm very passionate about, like, which was initially capturing photos, because all I had said, and I told Mark this, I'm like, hey, when I want to create my own footprint on this planet. So when I'm gone, that footprint is there.
Yeah.
Whether those images be of you and people don't know, like, who even took them, those images are going to live forever. And I'm like, those are going to impact this world bigger than any, like, at the time, again, medical outfield, like, no one cares about that. No one cares about the millions of documents that I sorted through. But
sure,
a dope image of Mark with like a quote on the bottom, like, dude, that I've received like DMs from people saying like how that's changed their life.
Mm-hmm.
And then now with the podcast, oh my gosh, dude,
you did a video about this exact thing where you were saying it's impacted a generation of people.
Yes.
What you're doing.
Yes.
And on the topic of leaving your mark and your footprint, Alex Ramosi said something. I don't know the exact quotation, but something along the lines of, when you're dead, people are going to basically your audience is going to forget about you in 6 weeks. So while you're here, leave the impact you want to be remembered for, because if you don't, you don't.
Yeah,
and it's just
got
not
one shot.
Yeah.
One
Oh, yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Mom's spaghetti. That goes.
One thing that I find really inspiring about you is, number one, you have a lot of humility, especially where you are today. And I mean, you are literally like the inspiration for that person that is in their 9 to 5 that hates what they are doing. Your work ethic to work for free, to put yourself out there and be very uncomfortable. I mean, that's exactly what they need to do. They need that inspiration to take that step and do something that would be risky, to take less pay and put their family in potentially jeopardy, all for the goal of being where you are today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really inspiring. I mean, anyone who is in that position, I mean, is hearing this and is going to be inspired by that.
Yeah, you have a super inspirational message, and I think it's a necessary message, especially in today's day and age. One question I did have for you, though, is you mentioned a little bit about like how someone could get started with the setup. When we're talking about skill set, though, what was the most challenging skill set for you to acquire in order to get to the position you're at today?
Oh man, it just goes back to more of that getting out of your comfort zone. You know, it was so funny. So Mark did a meathead millionaire like meetup or something. So
Sounds like him.
yeah. So it was Mark and his wife, and then it was Jason Khalipa and his wife. It was golly, there's so many. Just oh my gosh, Dana Lynn Bailey and her husband. So like a bunch of high level couples like that.
The inn.
Just all come together just to hang out. And people were like, so Mark, like, why'd you call us all here? And he's like, we have a lot to learn from each other. Right. So, and it was cool because like me being a photographer, I get to sit in this room with all these freaking high level people. And I just, snap pictures. Like, cool. Something came up where I was like, I have something to say about this. I don't think I should, though, because I'm just supposed to take pictures, and these are all multimillionaires running crazy elite businesses, and I'm a photographer getting paid not even like nothing compared to what they make. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, but I have something very important to say. And it was in regards to dealing with like, or having a bad employee in your circle of people, and kind of like how to deal with that or whatever. And I did have something to say on it, and I stood up and I said it. And I remember after that, Mark on a podcast was explaining how one of the most epic things that happened didn't even happen from any of the people that was there. He's like, Andrew stood up and said something that totally floored Hayden Bowe. Hayden's eyes were just like, holy shit. And I can tell you guys what it was after, but Mark was like, I know the person that came into super training would have shit his pants if he tried to do that. But here is Andrew speaking in front of all these people with some actual value to give to them. Like, holy crap, that's amazing.
After how much time from entering super training to now, approximately?
I would say probably like 3 years. I'm really bad at time framing stuff.
Great. Just for my own, what was it? What was said?
Okay, sure. It was just in regards to a bad employee, and so all I said was, I already said his name, so it's okay. Was when you have somebody like that in your, in your business, like sure you think, oh, this is just the one bad employee, like, but it's kind of like a cancer, because now the good employee has to deal with that bad employee. That bad employee ruins their day. They have a bad day. Now they got to deal with somebody else that's also having a bad day.
Right.
I was like, so that cancer is going to spread. So while you think it's, I just got this one bad apple, like, no, you don't. You have a much bigger problem there.
Sure.
Because at the time we had somebody, and I told them straight up, I'm like, if I see this person, I go the opposite way, even if it's totally like goes against where I'm actually trying to get to, or I literally will just like dread walking into the office if I see this person.
Sure.
And that's when he was just like, oh shit, I didn't even consider
rough.
that, because he's like up here just dealing with the like CEO shit, right? And he's not thinking like, damn. So hopefully that all got resorted, but or sorted out. But it was just crazy being able to have some value in that arena, right? In that room full of these killers, I have something to say, because like I said, they're up here and I'm down here like in the trenches with people.
Sure.
So to get back to your question, it's getting out of that comfort zone and, you know, really putting yourself out there and being comfortable with that. Jumping on a plane to come do a podcast, you know, what I mean? By yourself when you're used to having two co-hosts that are going to kind of ride the ship, and I just kind of jump in every once in a while, to being okay with like, oh, they're going to ask me a bunch of like deep questions. I got to be ready for this, or you know what I mean? Like, putting yourself out there and getting good with navigating that, right? Because you could put yourself out there and fall flat on your face, which, you know, it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
But can you get back up, and can you understand where you messed up? And then also, like I said, just navigating that, you know, kind of rolling with the punches sometimes, that sort of thing. Yeah.
And the worst they can usually say is no. If there is a situation, I mean, to your point about the employee, I mean, that's a much more in-depth thing. They could say more than that. Right. That's a really outside of your comfort zone thing to speak up in front of people that are, you know, ahead of you and whatever. Success in business is a tough one. That's a big one, because that's an area for me still where I still get kind of butterflies. I mean, if I have somebody who's coming on here and I know for a fact this person is, you know, far ahead of me in these categories, it gets to a point where you have to get comfortable being around people who are ahead of you. And it really is rewarding, I've found, in this particular setting, in a podcast, because I, like you, I love learning from new people. I love being around people that are ahead of me, that are succeeding in something that I'm not, because I never really saw this happening, because you don't know until you actually host a podcast or start really doing this. Every single person that sits across from me teaches me something I didn't know about themselves, about the business, about myself, anything. It's just the quickest, and it's the quickest way I have found to actually learn is just from being around. I totally get why Mark did something like that. Like, we have a lot to learn from each other.
Yeah. And one of the things I really liked about the Power Project, and when you were on it, Mark made a point of saying this, is like, we like to reach out to the younger generation, the up and comings, like him, Jimmy House, all those different guys that are coming up the ladder. And I think that's really unique that the podcast does that, because I don't think a lot of people think about that, you know, bringing up the next generation.
100%.
It's important to raise their voice and to give them a platform, because, you know, they're next up, really. And that's so cool.
Yeah, we definitely try to do that. And then also, we're not trying to build just the legit echo chamber of guests, you know? So like like the most recent episode that we did with, his name is Bart K. I think I have not disagreed with somebody more as far as his views on nutrition, but it was so cool to see a different side. So long story short, he was saying calories in, calories out doesn't work. And so you can imagine how
I gotta watch that episode.
It was good. Him and Nsima kind of went back and forth. It was awesome. But mad respect to Bart for coming onto the show. And, you know, again, we want different opinions. We want different views. Now, haven't had anybody really from the vegan side of things. Like, we have had one guy, and it was just, he was so abrasive. It got us nowhere.
It's rough.
It's
rough to find very clear and concise people coming at that argument from that side, because it's usually emotional. It's usually driven by, I don't want things to get hurt, which is fine. But you're not going to go into a debate against like a Dr. Paul Saladino or somebody who actually is on the other side with facts and win as a vegan. Whatever win is. I just don't think
you say something louder so you win, right?
Right.
So anyway, so we have both, you know, we try to bring in more people from, you know, all sorts of things, because this is what I'm really getting at, is what you were just saying, how like you learn from people, and like sometimes you even feel like, oh shit, I'm a little nervous because they're a little bit ahead of me. And this is something I got literally just on the ride in here, is like a podcast is sort of like you're taking somebody out for breakfast. All right, you're gonna just hang out with them for a little bit, you guys are gonna shoot the shit, and then you're gonna have an opportunity to ask a legit question where you just kind of slide it right on in there. Like, damn, all right, cool, I got that. And then that just starts to build and build and build. Because the podcast itself, dude, it's tough to think of many other podcasts that are bringing on guests that will take what they learn and implement it. So at Super Training, we're kind of all walking around barefoot now.
Yeah.
We're smashing our feet. We're smashing different parts of our body because of fascia release. We're doing stuff from Goda. We're doing stuff from FP. We're doing stuff from David Weck. Like, we're doing all of it, because we want to see like what's legit, like what's not, and, you know, so that way we can kind of round it all in so that way our guests or listeners can be like, oh, okay, so they like that one, we're going to try that one.
Mm-hmm.
And if it works for them, cool. If it doesn't, like, hey, we got so many other guests that you can learn from. But the thing about it is, it's like, dude, every episode that we do, and including this one, it's just like such a cool opportunity to learn so much. It sometimes is overwhelming because I'll think like, oh, dude, when did we have Brandon on? Like, I think that was like either 2 months ago or 2 years ago. Like, I lose,
kind of blend together,
dude,
doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Big time, but it is such a cool experience, and it's such a huge cheat code.
I wanted to make a point of saying this, and it's in my mind, so I'm going to.
Yeah.
The combination and what you guys do different than anybody else other than us now is the combination of both an episode and then the gym content. The ability, and that is very understated. Not enough people are giving you the credit for that. That is enormous because of the practical application for whoever the guest is. It's like, okay, you've got this really cool new technique of myofascial release. You maybe have Donnie Thompson on. He's talking about tempering. Well, that's all well and great. We can talk about it for 90 minutes. Now let's go into the gym and you can actually show me. And from the content side, from the educational side, I can hear about it and then I can record it and see it.
Yeah.
And that to me, I mean, when I left Power Project, a light went on. And I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, but somehow I need to get a permanent podcast studio to where the guests can come, they can do the episode, then go into the gym back to back. I need to figure out a way to make that happen. That's special.
Yeah.
That's incredibly special.
It is such a huge draw. So what you're building right here is going to draw in a lot of really big people, because that's the thing. It's when I reach out to a potential guest, they'll ask questions about the podcast, and I will tell them, like, yes, we're going to definitely record the podcast. We'll have a dope 2-hour conversation. I'm like, but we're also going to get in a really good workout because it's all under one roof, right? So we're going to either go lift and film some cool like TikToks and stuff, or we're going to podcast and then go do that. I'm like, but the thing is, you're going to get so much more reach out of just what we do here than you will doing just a podcast or doing just a video thing. So what you're building here, like, oh man, people just need to get ready because this is going to be huge.
And it's private.
Yeah,
it's private,
huge.
And that's huge too. I mean, if you, Mark Wahlberg ain't going to go into EOS Fitness and then do a podcast with their owner.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg will go to Super Training and do something like that.
I hope so.
Having the, try to get him.
Dude. Yeah.
He's closer to you than he is to me. Hopefully it goes down the ladder a little bit.
Who's at the top of your list as far as guests you have?
Great question.
Oh man, I get asked that quite a bit, and it's so hard. So just shout out to her name's Susan Bratton. She's a sexpert.
She's the one who.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, we know who she is.
So her videos will just like randomly stir up and go viral like on their own without us really doing anything.
I'm sure.
And it's like, oh, here's another cool like 2 million from Susan. Like that's cool. So that's just more on the fun side. And yeah, she has all kinds of really cool programs. So shout out to her. But honestly, dude, I think my favorite of all time, because he is just a really good person, is Jay Cutler.
Okay.
He is
Mr. Olympia,
yes,
not NFL.
No,
Okay.
yeah, 4-time Mr. Olympia, Jay Cutler.
Wow. He's already been on Power Project.
Yeah. He was on a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
It must have been years. I don't think I've ever seen his episode.
Yeah, it was years ago, and that was when we would run it live. So like the audio and video looks like shit compared to what we do now. So like it's always frustrating to look back at old, really good episodes like that. But why he's so cool is because he's so genuine and he's so super. Like he's just the most nicest person.
He seems like it.
I've met in this entire industry, as far as like the big name people.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that would say like hi to Mark, and then they'd be like, "Oh, what's up, camera guy?"
Sure. Yeah.
If Mark's not there, they don't even see me.
Uh-huh.
I was at the San Jose Fit Expo, and I'm just like kind of chilling, like walking around, because I was there with the team. We had a slingshot booth, but we were just kind of hanging out. And I'm like, I'm going to go walk around and see what's going on here. My wife actually at the time was working with Cass Martin, so she was like at her booth. So
Yeah.
Cool. So we were all there together. I'm walking around and I'm like, dude, what's this big old line for? And I was like, oh, they're all going to see Jay Cutler. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm walking by, and keep in mind, he has the longest line out of the entire expo.
I'm sure, yeah.
He sees me from like maybe to your front yard, and he's just like, oh, he's waving me down, and I'm like, is he talking to me? So
big old arms.
I nervously walk over there like if I'm going somewhere else, and then he's like, yeah, get in here. I'm like, what the heck, dude? Like,
that's cool.
This is fucking Mr. Olympia just waved me down in front of all these people. So like
I've heard this from a couple different people. That
I was
super
at least
personable.
like 10 feet tall, like cutting in front of all these people, right? They're all like, who the fuck is this guy? And, you know, just like, so we're talking, and you know, this was when Mark was getting ready to do his bodybuilding show. So he was like, how's he doing? And da-da-da. So we talked for, I don't know, a good 10 minutes. And it's just like, you don't get that in this fitness industry sometimes, you know, like, how many followers do you have? Like, oh, okay, I can't talk to you then. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I hate that.
You know, I'm not saying like literally anybody does that, but sometimes you get that
So
vibe.
they do.
Yeah.
They totally
You
do.
know, like, and it's just like, like that's a bummer. Like
It
sometimes when you meet somebody and it's like, you do care about that.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah.
and honestly, it is 99.99% not that, but every once in a while you will see somebody that is like, you can just tell,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
You
they're in the conversation for getting something out,
Yeah.
as opposed to, I don't know, anything but that. But they're in the conversation because they want something out of it. They want something from Mark, and they don't care about the
Yeah.
relationship with Mark either. They want to get
Something.
followers or something from it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
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 It's not what really makes, I think, the cream rise to the top in any industry, but especially in this one. The higher you go, I just violated my own rule. I was like 5 inches away. The higher you, the higher you go, the smaller it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned this, not even so much from the influencers. For us, right now, I can say that I have a very good relationship with almost every major equipment manufacturer in the United States of America.
That's huge.
So I know the CEOs of almost like most of these companies that, and as you get higher and higher and higher, you do realize that some of them are in it for other reasons, the ones you'll actually talk to that will respond to you and the ones that won't. And yeah, it's that way. The higher you go in this business, like many others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, this podcast studio is so cool. I just want people to understand a couple things, like not to be dickheads, okay? But like these awesome, cool sound panels, people don't understand. Those cost a lot of money. And you have, I lost track, but you probably have like 20 of them in here?
I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 6. 8.
All right, just imagine a couple
Yeah.
$1,000 in just some stupid things that don't bounce sound off of.
Yeah.
These arms, which I'm assuming they're expensive
The
as
old
well.
ones? Oh, these?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, these are the only thing in here that wasn't like straight from that website that I told you about that the JRE
Yeah.
used
Yeah.
was the table. This was a local guy.
Okay.
So I
sick.
worked with him.
Yeah.
But all of this stuff is the top of the line.
Each
for this.
microphone's at least $400. This is
The
all cool stuff
stands,
that I
yeah.
get to I just understand. And when I walk into some place like this, I'm like, they took this very serious. So this is really, really dope.
And it's taken a long time to get to this point because in the beginning when you start something, any new venture, usually you can't be so selective that you just kind of skip right to the best and don't even bother with like a 1.0 version. The podcast studio is, call it, the third major phase of development that's happened here in the last 9 years that I've been doing this and now that we've been doing this. So for this, when I decided that this was going to happen, because this was a basic bedroom, construction alone on this was a whole process. How long do you just did that video, by the way? You need to send that to him.
I haven't posted it. I'll show you after.
Can you stream it on here? Is that possible?
Yes.
You need to see what he did.
Yeah, let me find it first.
This is a really good time to actually, in addition to the creation hands on the ground, which a lot of which I've taken on through just YouTube and just the time spent here, the content creation and the back end software and everything that these two have brought, this would never have catapulted anywhere to where it is now without that. And there's a big lesson to be learned in that. If you are an entrepreneur and you are truly trying to be, A to Z control over everything, you kind of can't. You got to stop somewhere near N or M and allow the rest to be taken over. You're never going to go anywhere. Can that play? The video? Does it have audio?
Dude.
Watch this.
So is that in here?
Yeah, that's in here.
Oh.
Eli, you did such a good job on editing.
Oh, wow.
This hasn't been out yet, so this is brand new.
Do you do all your you literally are the one doing construction?
Yeah. Oh, I use subs. Okay, so you got to turn the phone, obviously. I get it. It doesn't translate quite as well to the...
No, I get it. Yeah, so then what is your Dude, Dr. Stolnick, right? That's
Yeah,
his name?
yeah.
Stolnick.
David.
Yeah,
Stolnick,
yeah, dude. I've known him for a long time now.
Oh, have you really?
He's a
Great
super,
dude.
super good dude. Yeah,
Oh, he's
used
awesome.
He used to be out in Santa Rosa, and so he would come to the gym every once in a while. And I think I definitely photographed him at like one of the meets and stuff.
The gym, super training, or
Yeah.
the gym, the CrossFit gym? Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
He's like 5 minutes from here or something.
Yeah,
said
he lives
right
right
down there.
He's my
That's
neighbor.
wild. That's sick.
He
Good
he
spot to
runs
be in.
the PPSC, that certification.
Yeah,
It's a good one. I took it for coaches, for real coaches. It's a really good one. If you're not like intrinsically in the business of training and coaching, it's a lot PT. So it would be tough to follow if you were kind of just getting into personal training. You'd be better off getting an early on cert, but it's a great course.
yeah. That's what. So like I got certified in biomechanics through Doug Brignoli's program.
Sick.
Yeah, R.I.P.
I didn't know that.
He just passed like a month ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
no.
super bummer. Died suddenly. You guys can figure out what happened there.
Fill in the blanks.
Yeah. So I took the course not to be a personal trainer, but I took it because I really loved his information. So we had him on the podcast twice. Just blew my mind with everything he does. And that's why I only really mess with the cable machine now. But what I wanted to ask you was, like, as somebody who's taken multiple courses and stuff, do you think for somebody that just wants to learn how to train better, like, is that something that someone should pursue, or should they just go to you and just hire you as a trainer to learn themselves?
Ooh, great question. I would probably answer that the way that I did it. So when I first got started, and this is before I even owned a house, this was back actually, I started training semi-professionally when I was about 17. I got hooked up with Ian Danny, who you've had on the podcast as well. You know Ian?
Oh, yeah.
I brought this up on Power Project a little
You
bit
guy's
as
a
well.
genius.
Dude, now that Poliquin is passed, RIP to him as well. Dude, a lot of these guys are dying. It's kind of weird. But now that he's passed, I would objectively say Ian's probably the patriarchy of the industry. I mean, I think he's probably
It'd
the
be
godfather.
Really hard to argue against that.
He's got the years, he's got the clientele, and he's just got the industry reputation that no one else does. His place is 25 minutes from here. It's up in Scottsdale.
Okay.
I started there when I was about 17. So I did two things. I hired him as a coach. So I was being trained by his head trainer with the programming that he implemented. And then I also, after 2 years of doing that, I basically begged him to come in and, hey, man, I'll do the laundry. I'll clean the locker rooms.
Yeah.
Can I please be an intern here? Then I did that for another 2 years. So I both hired a coach and came on as a intern while doing my schooling. So I had a BA in Westmont. I was doing kines and sociology. I got out, had my degree. Once I did that, I did do some other certifications that do help you. I just completed, about 6 months ago now, I completed a master's in exercise science. So as far as formal education goes, I have taken that to a healthy point. But I would say hiring a trainer, someone like Ian Danny, and this is where it gets, I'm not talking about going to a CrossFit gym and hiring that trainer. I'm talking about you need to be very select, because if you're going to trade, that's the way you need to look at it. I'm going to spend $100,000 on my education to get a master's degree, or in my head, I can take maybe half that money and I'll take $50,000 over 4 years instead of that, and I'll train with Ian Danny.
Right.
To me, where I'm at now, I see the value in that trade-off. And while I didn't trade one for the other, if I was to talk to a 19-year-old kid who's like, hey, I want to be a trainer, I would say, hey, man, if you have the opportunity to train with Mark Bell for $50,000 over the next 2 years, 3 years, pay Mark Bell $50,000 and train with Mark Bell.
Yeah.
Do not get a master's degree.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Mark would tell you no.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause
Yeah.
He doesn't do that.
I know.
So,
Mark doesn't, does he?
No,
he
no,
doesn't
no.
train? Or
no, he
just-
doesn't charge for the gym. It's all
No,
free.
it's all
'cause-
free.
Yeah, he at one point was charging for super training, like back in 2006.
Sure.
He's like, but there was only like really one guy that would pay, and he's still part of the gym too, so that's really cool.
Sure.
He's like, I didn't like it because then you're kind of on the hook, right? Then you're like, oh, I gotta actually go open it today, or I gotta go train this person, and he beats to his own drum. Like he doesn't do anything traditionally.
I think we're a little different in that, he and I, because
Yeah.
I love training clients.
Yeah.
I love my clients.
Yeah.
And you form a very interesting interpersonal relationship when you do it private and semi-private, because I don't have a box gym. I don't have like a group coming in and out of here. I train 15 people at most.
That's
and
wild.
so you really do get where I'm at. I get the most motivated, the most motivation, but I don't like that word, the most dedication from your clients that you'll ever get.
Yeah. So something I wanted to ask you about. So you have an awesome, successful business. Somebody that I'm assuming you looked up to because you guys were talking about how your dad kind of was like knew right away that you guys need to start rock climbing and doing all these other things.
Sure.
He told you that charging $150 an hour for clients was never going to work.
Yep.
What was the process of overcoming that? Because this is your dad. This is the guy that's supposed to support you. He is supposed to tell you when you are crazy, but it wasn't really that crazy in my opinion. So what went through your mind when he said that?
Yeah.
And how did you overcome that? Because again, like I said, I was told a lot of negative things and I just said, oh, they're right.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to be like, actually, they were wrong. But it seems like you kind of took it in stride.
It seems that way now. Yeah, no, I remember when first off, on the topic of my dad, he is, in addition to being, of course, my parent, which brings with his comments quite a lot of impact on your decision making, regardless of if he's successful. Our father's one of the most successful businessmen I've ever known.
Got it.
Like, objectively speaking.
Yeah.
So his word, meant a lot saying that. So I did not take it, dismiss it, and just ignore it. No, it really hit home with me, and it really did make me kind of at least question the direction that I was going, because there comes a certain point where you keep dumping money into your home gym where people will start to wonder, like, okay, like, are you ever really going to leave? Is this ever going to, you're renovating your house. Are you actually going to stay here forever? And the vision that I always had was different than what I was told to do from not just my father, but from several other, we're very fortunate. We have a lot of successful businessmen in our lives. I saw things differently, and I think I think a little bit differently than my dad. I think similar to my dad in a lot of ways, but I have a very different sort of creative passion that somehow I have channeled into a successful business. This was how I saw this going. And to the question of 150 per session, which is sort of where we're at now, his objections were very justified when he first made them. We had no AC. I was bringing people in through the garage. There was no backyard. There was no ice bath, no sauna, no nothing. And of course, to me, in my head, I took his comments with, well, okay, you're probably right. I'm probably still stuck around 75. You don't ever want to price yourself out of your market.
Of course.
If me 5 years ago charged what I do now, probably would have died hungry and alone. But taking things slowly and steadily and now pushing the envelope to the direction that it's at now has allowed that to happen. And now he is still a very pragmatic person when it comes to these kinds of decisions, and he's usually right. And that's where this particular time in my life was sort of spooky, because if he told me to do something business related, usually I would take it. I'd be like, you're probably right. I don't really know anything business related. I only know how to train, so I'll do what you want. But not heeding that and kind of just pushing forward with what I thought would work has allowed this to come full circle where it's at now.
Yeah, I asked that because I'm always just fascinated with, because I have been on both sides. I have been on the side where I folded and just cowered it away from everything difficult. And I've been on the other side where it's like, damn, that's a really tough mountain to climb. Let me get over that. So I'm always fascinated with why some people can get over that hump and others don't. And I've asked a bunch of people on our podcast kind of a similar question. And as simple and elementary as it may seem, it always comes back to their why. You know, we've heard that all the time, like, oh, your why has to be more powerful than this or that. Like, if you want to lose weight, like, your why has to be more, has to taste better than that dessert or whatever. And it's like I said, it's like super low hanging fruit, super elementary to say like, oh, you just need that why. But like for me, like I didn't want to freaking fail at being a photographer, and I wanted to support my family, and I wanted nothing more than to never go back to clocking in and out at a job I hated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted to be happy. There's so many people that are in that similar situation where it's like, dude, like this world needs you to pursue whatever it is that you're passionate about.
Mhm.
You know, to get a little bit like on the Gary Vee tip, it's like, okay, let's say you have your 8 to 5 job that you maybe don't love, but I don't know, you're really good at Madden football. Okay, start a podcast where you talk about Madden football every fucking, you know, every weekend with your buddies. Like, sure, it's silly, it's probably not going to make you a lot of money, but you have something to look forward to. You have something to build. And obviously with Madden, it's going to come out every single year, so you guys can just talk shit about it all the time. But it's such a shame that some people get stuck in this hamster wheel of things, right? They maybe have dreams when they're a kid, and then somebody tells them, "Oh, you're going nowhere in life," and then they believe them, and they fall right to it. You know, so it's like such a bummer. So like, again, looking back at like what I've been able to accomplish, like, dude, so many people have way more gifts than I was ever given. And
amen,
dude, you know what I mean? Like, and like they're not cashing in on those gifts. It's just such a bummer. So like, if anybody's listening, like, dude, just go out and do whatever the hell it is that you're trying to do, because this world needs it. You know, this world needs this podcast. You know what I mean?
I love
not
that.
necessarily this episode. I'm kind of talking shit about there, but I mean, literally like the episodes you guys are going to be putting together.
Everything, all of it. This,
You know what I mean? Like,
people need to hear this.
That's why I'm like trying to like really imprint that in people's heads that like I wasn't a genetic freak. I've had bad vision since I was like 3. You know, like I am very introverted. But dude, if I can do it, literally anybody can do it. And it's just such a wild ride to be a part of all of this. It's so freaking dope being in this freaking superhero gym. Dude, I gotta ask you guys, especially with Wakanda Forever coming out.
Ooh.
Okay, so maybe before that, or maybe we'll go with that one as well. Have you guys cried during any of the MCU movies?
Yes.
Cried?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yes.
Cried from disappointment or cried from
No,
genuine?
no, just genuine tears rolling.
In game.
Do you remember Iron Man?
I mean, yeah, I didn't. I mean, yeah, okay. When Robert Downey died, yes, I cried. Of course,
I love you.
Everybody did that.
Come on.
Yeah, that one was tough. I thought it was as sad when he learns that his parents were killed by the Winter Soldier, and the whole like, I don't care. He killed my mom.
Yeah,
that scene.
That's
tough. That's a powerful scene. Robert Downey for me made that franchise so much better than it is now. Now that he is gone, I'm going to say I don't dislike it. I do dislike it. I've disliked every Marvel movie that's come out, probably the last 4 or 5. I haven't seen Wakanda, so that's with I haven't seen it yet. But I haven't.
You liked Spider-Man.
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite Spider-Man, but I did like it. You're talking about
it doesn't have to be
Andrew Garfield and yeah.
I like
it.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Little throwback action. We got to see Toby again. That was nice.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever was good. I'm a huge fan of Black Panther, and that was actually
I love
the
Black
first
Panther.
time I like bawled my eyes out. Was actually the second time, or maybe a third time, watching Endgame. Because I'm getting the chills. Hopefully, I don't start crying right now. But my favorite superhero is Captain America, because I was small, skinny, scrawny, just like him.
Yeah.
We both got on the juice and got a little bit bigger. But Endgame, so him, Thor, Iron Man, they're all getting their ass kicked by Thanos. He has his like forearms like split open, but he puts his shield on. He wraps it up to try to heal it. He's getting his ass kicked, and he's just like, "Fuck, I gotta keep going." And then of course, like Thanos is there getting ready to kick his ass with the entire army. Can't believe I'm getting emotional, but you hear Cap on your left, and who's the first person that walks out?
Falcon. Am I right?
No.
Who is it?
No.
Who walks out is Black Panther.
Oh, it's Black Panther. That's right.
And
Cap on the left was
but at this time he had already died, and all I could think about was like, dude, he's in pain right now. Like, he's an actual superhero because he told nobody, right?
That's right, because he had cancer.
Yes.
You're talking about oh goodness, his name. What is it?
I know I'm bad with that, but Black Panther.
What's his name? R.I.P. The actor who played. He was great.
He's incredible.
He went fast. It was like
to be honest. Okay, before I say the statement, did Infinity War come out before or after Black Panther 1?
After.
Infinity War came out after?
Yes.
Okay, then my statement doesn't apply. I was going to say that Black Panther 1 is probably the last it's the second to last MCU movie that I love.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Black Panther 1, Infinity War came out. Infinity War is my favorite. That's my number 1 Marvel movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
Black Panther's probably his second. I loved Black Panther.
Yeah.
I was blown away by it.
Yeah, so again, kind of going back to, and no movie has ever made me feel that way when they're, all the superheroes are coming out of the circle. I'm just like, oh my God, dude. Like, I got so fired up. But in the movie theater, it was all good, but then watching it after, just kind of thinking, like, dude, he's in pain. He told nobody. He just went in and did his job, right? Like, I remember, dude, I was like,
he didn't want to be remembered for a person dying from his disease. He wanted to be remembered for that character that he created so well. Yeah.
So you're saying that you like Black Panther more than Captain America: The Winter Soldier? That's what you want to go on record saying?
It's close. My favorite was Michael B. Jordan. My favorite villain, I think, in the MCU is Michael B. Jordan.
I love that he's from Oakland too. So he has.
Is he actually from Oakland?
In the movie, he was from Oakland.
Oh yeah.
But he also did the movie where the kid got shot on the BART station, which happened also in Oakland. So it was like one of his first movies.
Oh, okay.
So he was already ingrained in that culture.
Because he's been an actor a lot longer than people think.
Oh,
he was in Friday Night Lights.
Oh, God.
Do you remember that?
No.
No one remembers that.
Holy
yeah, dude.
moly.
Last season of Friday Night Lights, he was the quarterback.
Hilarious.
Oh, and he's probably 14. 13, 14.
Shredded.
I didn't even realize it was him. I went back and watched it. I was like, oh, my gosh. Because the dude, like, matured. Like, you won't even believe. He looks goonish as a kid. He looks goofy.
Oh,
he does not look like Michael B. Jordan that you see as Killmonger.
Yeah.
Totally different.
But I just like his swagger and like, what's up, cuz? Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I said, he's got that NorCal vibe to him. It's just fucking, it's fucking dope. But that's cool, dude. Yeah, like you got to watch Wakanda Forever.
I'll see him.
I know you'll watch it. I'm a very biased fan because Chadwick is like my superhero, right?
Yeah.
So I loved everything about it, and then
it's going to be hard for I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to like it because he's not in it. The whole time I'm going to be like, he's not in it.
Yeah. And then like when the I don't want to spoil any of it.
I'll see
you,
it.
So yeah,
it is out, right? It's all out. Yeah. Okay.
Out-ish, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find it somewhere.
No, go get it. Watch it this weekend.
But yeah, dude, I think you guys just got to get more reps in by yourselves. I think that would get the vibe going, really going. Like,
we're getting a capability to smoke cigars in here pretty soon. We'll have to start.
So you missed it.
You're gonna be back out here for sure.
I would love to. I might have to skip that episode though.
Do you not smoke cigars?
No, I don't. No.
Really? Have you ever? Do you just not like it at all, or is it?
I think I tried it like a handful of times. I didn't get it. if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean it does.
It makes sense.
It's not a healthy thing. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook up a there's a very specific ventilation system you have to smoke cigars indoor.
Yeah.
And it'll be rigged to draw and even more so for a podcast studio because you can't have a ventilation system making noise. You've got to run ductwork like 30 yards to get the fan way away from it, to take it out and still be strong enough to get rid of it. It's apparently there's a song and dance to doing this that isn't cheap.
Is the whole thing.
Yeah, is there a limit for you guys? Like you just think it's like, oh, we want to smoke cigars. Let's
I literally said
build some shit in here that makes that possible.
I didn't know.
Like where does that stop?
Every time I think we're done, Brand's like, oh, I have a great idea. It's like, oh my God. No.
Just what I just sent you last night, that outdoor adult jungle gym. Have you ever heard of Move Strong?
No.
Okay, go on Instagram. Pull up Move Strong.
I gotta see this.
Dude, you have to see this.
His neighbors are going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, dude. Do your neighbors like ask you what's going on all the time? Or
my neighbors kind of know what's up.
Okay.
They were cool with it so far. Granted, this most likely will push the envelope. That's it. Right there, the blue one. You got to see these things. So they're adult jungle gyms. Not that first one. My God. Go down. I'll show you the one. Keep going. Not that one. The one I want is in a picture format. Keep going. Right there. Red and black. Left side. Like that.
Oh.
In the backyard. Hang it over the turf.
Yeah.
So mount it to the house and pull it out over the turf. That's the idea.
Yeah, that would be sick because, dude, we get back to, like, on the podcast about, like, playing. Like, you should be able to play every once in a while.
100%.
Play a freaking jungle gym.
Oh, that's the goal. It's an adult. And that's what I'm going to say to the HOA when they call me.
Yeah.
They're like, what? You got a problem with my jungle gym for my kids?
Yeah.
/ me?
Hating? Oh, dude, I got something for you. Hold on.
Yeah, what do you got?
Hold on. We'll talk about business and stuff, too.
Heck yeah.
Where's it at?
Look at that thing. It's like the most elaborate adult jungle. This is the coolest company ever. Why aren't parks like that? Our parks are lame. That's amazing.
That's sick. All right.
Look at that in the indoor. That's so friggin' cool.
Yeah.
In that big old heavy bag.
Why do you even need a kitchen? Just blow out the kitchen and put that there.
I just know the next time I come back, you're gonna have like a second level, and it's just
Something
that'll be
roof.
like the weight room. Like, dude, that's a weird choice to put all the weight up top. Gyms do that though. It's so
I've
weird.
seen them. Yeah, they put them
Yeah.
all the way at the top of the stairs. What's
Cool.
that?
So, okay. So for the podcast, so it's funny because like somebody like on the Uber ride from the airport to the hotel was like, well, how does that help you guys if you're going on someone else's thing? And I was like, if I get, a little bit of attention on Instagram, like that might be cool. If I get that and then they find the podcast and they listen to my podcast, like that's cool. If they follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the podcast, and then maybe go to powerproject.live and they can pick up some merch from the podcast, it's like, then that's extra cool. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but like, hey, what if it happens and we build both networks? Like that's kind of how this podcast world works. There's
Collaboration over competition.
there's no limit of like, oh, there's only like, all right, guys, this podcast is going to cap out at 100 new followers. I'm the guest, so I'm going to get 75. You guys can split the rest. Like, that's not how it works. Right? But some people kind of think that way. Anyways, so this is actually something that we just started selling. So on the front, go ahead and pass that over there.
See this?
I'll let you read it.
Okay. Don't get trapped by
And then
devil pussy.
I was like, Brandon needs this. He's a single, young, strapping man.
I love it.
So you got to be careful, dude.
That's funny.
Coffee tastes a little bit different out of the devil pussy, but it's a little sour.
What brought this on?
So going back to having fun and playing. So on the podcast, we just dick around and we have a lot of fun.
Sure.
So one day we were just talking about relationships and like how, we always know the guy that's like, dude, that chick's no good for you. Oh, but I love her. And da-da-da. It's like, okay, you love her or you just really love having sex with her. And then so Mark was like, yeah, that's that devil pussy. Where like once it traps you, it's like over. And then he like started laughing like evil like that too, like ha, 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 like I got you, motherfucker. And so like just because we can, we just like, dude, that would be such a silly mug to make. Like, all right, dude, it's cool. It's a gigantic.
Oh
mug,
yeah, no, this is
big.
outstanding. This would make a great gift. Yeah.
It's just
What I like is that you could subtly send that to someone that needs to see that.
yeah.
Is this the same graphic guy that did your shirt?
Yes.
That's
yeah.
He's
yeah.
Very
good,
talented.
Very
He's
good.
very
Yeah, shout out to Melvin. He's incredible. Dude. Yeah,
Yeah. What are the odds that of all the gifts?
Do you have two of those, by the way?
So going back to like,
Ellie, this is not about you.
Yeah,
I'm new to the business side of things, so I had to like steal this. I don't even know if like someone's gonna try to buy this one mug and we're not gonna have it in stock. But yeah, dude, it is. Yeah, I figured I'm like, these guys are all single. They probably need a little warning sign every now and again.
I
Just be
need that
careful.
as a T-shirt, both front and back. If someone reads the back first, they're gonna be like,
Don't get trapped.
oh, don't get trapped by. I was wondering what you were trying
Yeah.
to convey to me.
Yeah, dude. No, we like I said, it's such a weird wet dream to be a part of this podcast that we can do stupid stuff like that, or I can be on a shirt, like this, dude. Same, it's so much fun, and like what you guys are gonna experience is like a lot of weird, random. We call them swirls. So like, maybe something I said you heard today, and you guys will go around and you'll podcast after podcast after podcast, and then somebody will say something similar. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. That kind of dings a bell, and then it just kind of swirls
Andrew from
again.
Power Project was talking just about this type of thing.
And then
we had him on.
months later, it'll happen again, and that's kind of what happened with me in jiu-jitsu. Like I kept hearing guest after guest talk about how like jiu-jitsu saved them, or jiu-jitsu saved, or like just helped them with their like mind and like everything. Like just was so positive.
Yeah.
It was actually Bedros Keuilian that said he was on a plane with his family, and some dude just went nuts and was like, I'm gonna kill everybody on this plane. And it's like, whoa, dude.
Wait, on like a commercial 747?
Whatever the fuck he flies on from Hawaii to wherever he was going. So whatever Bedros can fly in, that's what they were in.
That'd be a weird thing to have on a private plane with like one other family,
I know, huh?
If he was on like Hawaiian Airlines, I mean, that would.
Yeah.
Jeez, did Bedros snap his neck?
So
Bedros.
So the whole story was he like talked to the stewardess or flight attendant. I'm not sure what's politically correct these days to call him. She had
either one, as long as you don't claim you're going to kill him and everybody else on the plane.
Right. She had zip ties, and he asked her like, "Hey, is there anything I can do?" right? Because you're a woman and he's a fucking crazy ass man going nuts. Like, can I help? And then she's like, well, we can't forcefully put these on him. We have to ask him to put him on himself. Naturally, he's like, fuck you, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So they came back to Bedros and they were like, hey, if there's anything you can do, please.
Yeah.
So he stood up. He goes over there. So that really got the guy going. So he's like, fuck, yo, I'm going to kill you, da-da-da. So he came after Bedros, and Bedros had like 6 weeks of like MMA training, whatever that was. It was a little bit of striking, a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and he was able to neutralize this guy, get him in like a rear naked chokehold, and then like he did something else to actually get him in the zip ties. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And then Mark one day was just talking to his son about jiu-jitsu, and they were at like some event, and he was like, hey, if you get proficient at jiu-jitsu, like you can control everybody in this, like nobody can step to you in this whole like arena. And I was like, damn, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then the last straw was my son. I want him to do jiu-jitsu. And if he's anything like me, he's going to have to watch dad do it first. And then so like I got into it, and man, I am freaking loving it.
Yeah? How long have you done it?
So I was doing just open mat for like a few weeks, and like I got all of the crazy like mat burns on my feet. My hands were like bloody and stuff. Like it was just bad.
Yeah.
But then I actually signed up and started going to classes about a month ago.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, dude, it's life altering, dude. Like now, like my whole mind is just focused on like how to get better for this.
Nice.
So when I would see Nsima, who like, dude, he's got his pro card, just amazing physique. And then when he switched over to powerlifting, he, 755 deadlift, and then like just for fun, he did like 725 like beltless, I think, like just a monster, right? And
I saw that video of him and Jimmy House rolling together. That was
dude, yeah,
pretty
shout out to
crazy.
Jimmy House.
Jimmy House is an animal.
So when I would see somebody like this, like, dude, what are you doing? You have so many amazing gifts for whether it be powerlifting or bodybuilding. I'm always a fan of bodybuilding, so I'm like, why would you waste your time? And now I'm like, oh, I get it. So as somebody who has never liked confrontation, never really wanted to fight anybody, was always the small guy that would get punished and pushed around and bullied, now doing jiu-jitsu is like, oh, like that big initial hurdle. My boy Josh Setledge was telling me, he forgot who said it, but he was like, the hardest belt to actually acquire is a white belt. Get that initial like, I'm gonna sign up and do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
But
I like that.
yeah,
Who said that?
so my buddy Josh Setledge told it to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's his original quote or where he got it from, but what he was just explaining was just like, yeah, like, of course blue belt's going to come eventually, but the hardest one is that white belt. It's that initial, I'm going to start doing jiu-jitsu. Let's go get super comfortable with uncomfortable in this whole arena where you have a dude that's like trying to choke you out or like, break your arm. Not that they actually do it, but like going back again to like the theme of this episode, which is like, I am a normal ass guy, but somehow I'm able to wake up and do an open mat session. I'm able to do a class session with more rolls at the end of that, go into a cold plunge, which is like, what the hell is this all about?
Hell yeah, it is.
And then go do it again the next morning, Now, obviously, there's a huge regression there that started where I was explaining how after I got divorced, I just went to the gym one time.
Mm-hmm.
It started there, but like it's right now where it's at is like, I would have never imagined that I could ever amount to anything close to where I am right now.
Yeah.
And I'm 37 now, so I've been like 10 years of exercising and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I started at 17, not 27.
Right, yeah.
But I started a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like I got less injuries at 27 than maybe if I started at 17. So again, if wherever the heck somebody's at, like you can totally change your entire life. And then also like I forgot the other saying where it's like people underestimate what they can do in 10 years and overestimate in 1 year.
Love that one. It's
Yeah.
a Tony Robbins,
Okay.
Robbins one. One of the rare ones that I actually like that he said.
Isn't that funny, dude? Like you'll see like these inspirational or motivational videos,
I don't like motivation.
and you're just like, fuck you. But then you'll like, I don't know, like it'll randomly pop up on like
Instagram,
YouTube,
it'll say something.
like Jim Rohn will pop up, and I'm like, oh, that's dope.
Mhm.
It's just weird how it hits you at certain times.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
once in a while they'll say something that lands home.
Yeah.
I prefer dedication over motivation.
Of course.
I think motivation's a little vapid. Tends
Mhm.
to come really, really fast in a big spike, and then it kind of disappears.
Disappears.
For all of us. We all aren't motivated all the time. But if you're a disciplined person, if you have dedication and discipline, then you still get what you need to get done even when you're not motivated to do it.
Yeah, something that we try to tell people all the time is like, dude, I want freaking ice cream. Dude, I want to have cookies too. You know, like I'm not immune to that.
I don't want to
stuff.
go in the cold plunge.
Oh my God. I was talking to my mother-in-law about that the other day. She's like, I have no idea how you do that. And I'm like, honestly, me neither. I'm like, I just know when I get into that cold water and I freaking hate it, but I start breathing and then I open my eyes and I realize like, holy crap, dude, the trees are so green. Like the sun is so shiny. Like this is so beautiful.
Is your ice tub outside?
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Ours is out. It's the best when it's outside, I think. I wouldn't like it if it's... I did it in a place... there's a place, I don't know if they have them in California. Optimize? You guys have Optimize?
No.
It's an Arizona place. They have basically what we have, our exact setup. They have
cool.
like cold tubs and saunas, and that's their whole shtick. And it's great, but it's indoors. You like looking at the ceiling.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's tough. I like looking at the sky. I like looking at the trees.
Yeah.
I like being outside.
I had a family member say, you know, I'm never doing the ice tub because I don't like being cold. And I was like, no one likes being cold. No one likes it. It's uncomfortable, but you know, on the other side of that, you feel so much better.
Yeah. What do you got? Okay, so I've had experts or access to experts when it comes to this question, but what the hell is it that makes you feel so good? Is it just the fact that like, oh, this is really difficult and I did it and no one else would be willing to do it, therefore I'm cooler than all of you?
There's a dopamine spike.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
yeah.
is it?
Yeah, there's norepinephrine, adrenaline, dopamine. There's a whole chemical concoction that happens to your body, whether you want it to or not, when you get in and then out and then recover and back to normal body temperature. That 20-minute, 25-minute process will release chemicals in your body whether or not you were motivated to get in or not. But
Andrew Huberman had that podcast, I think, that talks about it.
He
Huberman has a really good podcast
there's
about
been
it.
so many. It's so, I hate the word fad, but it's so like fatty now. It's so trendish. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy they're doing it regardless of the reason, because specifically to what you just said, I think the big benefit is the conquering of that task. I like to call it plugging into a battery, because when you get out, you not only get that chemical reaction in your body that leaves you with a really elevated energy for the rest of the day, you just feel so good. You know, and it is matched by the fact that you know you conquered it. You
microdosing adversity.
Yeah.
That's it, really. Yeah, dude, that's what this shirt's all about, actually. But since we had you on the podcast, I actually started doing the contrast stuff.
Sick.
It actually motivated me to finally replace our water heater, because like it was kind of warm, but it wasn't that hot. Yeah. So now, like, I get in the cold tub, and I jump out of there, and I jump straight into a super hot shower.
Which cold tub do you have? Do you have
we
the
have
plunge?
We have the cold plunge. Yeah. Shout out to them. Huge thanks to them, because
they're great. That's a good company.
Yeah, we've been working with them pretty much all year, and hopefully we can move on and keep working with them. But dude, it's so nice to get in there, and like it being automated, like not having to worry about it, like having the water filter itself and all that good stuff. But yeah, dude, for my back and all the aches and pains that come with jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Oh, it's a must,
dude. Yeah, no.
It's a must.
People worry about like, oh, like you don't want the inflammation to go away after a training session and da da da.
Yeah.
Like, but one of those sessions is a little bit different, because like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to walk later unless I get in this cold plunge, you know.
And the goal behind every single individual training session is not how much muscle can I possibly push on. Right. That statement, which is essentially the interference of hypertrophy caused by cold, is the big objection people have to doing cold therapy. And their argument always goes like this. Okay, if you do that, whatever workout you just did is not going to yield the same amount of muscle density, because a study once showed that if a guy put his foot into an ice tub and the other foot stayed out, immediately after doing legs, this leg did better than this one with regards to protein synthesis. I'm like, okay, sure,
so
maybe
specific.
Maybe it's and that thing has been, and there's also the reversal of, you've heard of the what is it called, the ICE methodology, the RICE, RICE. The RICE methodology was rest, ice. It's been debunked. This guy had that protocol for so long, and that was like all the athletes did it. They would go, they would work out, and then afterwards they would ice. And the argument has been proven to be wrong now, because you do need a certain level of inflammatory response to yield a muscle growth. So that has to happen. That is to say, should you do the ice bath every single day after your training? Probably not. I wouldn't. I don't. I do mine twice a week. But doing it twice a week versus not doing it twice a week, you are going to feel like shit if
Right.
you do not do that. If you are training consistently and if you're rolling on top of strength training, you're not going to have an option. You're not going to be able to keep going like that if you don't plug into that battery. And while muscle growth may not be exactly the same as if you didn't implement ice tubs, your rest and recovery and the ability to just keep going, that's more important in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. How cold do you get yours?
34.
Dude, that's insane.
Want to do it?
No, I don't actually. my wife was like, "Oh, did you take your shorts to jump in their ice bath?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't. I don't want to
I
do
did
it
it on purpose.
Oh,
no.
don't worry, we have one for you.
I've got it. Yeah, I was like, "No, they'll got me covered either way. Or I'll just jump in." Yeah, no.
I've seriously thought about investing in bathing suits. The number of my clients that come here and I'm like, all right, you need anything for the ice? Oh, I'm not doing the ice.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, I didn't bring my shorts. I'm like, what do you mean?
Like, well, you get the loner shorts that everyone has to wear.
Exactly.
Lots of sweaty balls in there. Yeah, no, I wasn't doing it because what happened? So I ended up I got a vasectomy because I didn't want any more kids.
Word.
Yeah, and so I couldn't submerge my sac in water because I thought for sure it would be better, but the doctor was like, no, don't do that. And then
For what? Like 6 weeks or something? Like you're not supposed
yeah,
to.
dude, vasectomies are weird.
They are weird.
It's just such an odd thing that humans do to ourselves. But not pulling out feels great. So
Yeah, the risk reward thing is
Yeah.
definitely favoring the vasectomy.
yeah, so there was that, and then in Sacramento we got this ridiculous heat wave that we're not used to in Sacramento. So like
Sure.
it was hitting like 115 degrees. It was like wild.
Wow.
But what happened was my cold plunge would keep kicking on because the water was getting too hot, but like half of my house would shut down. And so I'm like, okay, this is dumb. Like I need to shut this off. And then I got the vasectomy. So I wasn't cold plunging for probably like 3 months total. So it was a long break, right? Maybe it wasn't that long. Maybe it was 2 months. It wasn't, whatever. It was a long period. And so I set it back up, especially because I started doing jujitsu again. Or I started doing jiu-jitsu, so I wanted to start cold plunging again. And it was still cooling down, and it was at like 65 degrees. And I was like, it's not going to be that cold, but like I just want to get in and go take a shower or whatever. Yeah. Dude, I was so upset because at 65 degrees, it was the coldest it had ever been.
Kicked your ass, didn't it?
Because I was not used to it. And
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is going on here? I felt like such a weenie. I was like, when you can't breathe and you're like trying to calm down and you can't.
Yeah.
It just took all my breath out of me, and I'm like, come on, just hold it together. So
That's why I don't set time limitations on my client. Or I set a limitation, but I don't set an expectation. I don't ever tell my client, they're like, how long do I have to do this? I'm like, that's the wrong question.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you get out at 10 minutes, but that's not how long you're going. You're going to go as long as you can calmly keep yourself in there and do the breath work that I'm telling you.
yeah.
You got to get
He'll
out.
tell you a 14-year-old girl went in for 10 minutes and guilt trip you into all 10 minutes.
I will.
Dude.
Oh, dude, women, by and large, of all the people that I ever
Yeah.
got through that, women do it for 10 minutes their first time twice as much as men.
So I get in at 60 degrees, and same thing. I'm like shivering, like literally like shivering to where like sometimes like my armpits will like splash water out. It's weird. I don't even know how
Yeah,
it does it, but I'm like,
Ooh.
my wife will get in and she's like, and I'm like, is this thing on? Like, what is happening? I'm like looking for, I'm scrambling
You're just
for
like,
answers because I'm like, can you like pretend?
I don't like
please?
this.
Can you just make me feel more like a man and just pretend? Like, come on.
Well, I mean, women have a higher tolerance for pain. Women give birth to kids. We
Yeah.
do not.
Yeah.
Men are pussies.
Yeah, we just take big dumps and that's it.
That's it.
Same.
And get vasectomies.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Don't do that. That's kind of a weird experience. But
Yeah.
You mentioned you're doing jujitsu because you want to get your son into it.
yeah.
I'm kind of in a similar situation. I have a 4-year-old son,
Sick.
and I want to get into jujitsu. I want to get him into it. Any advice for a parent?
So I'm going through it right now. So the one thing I didn't want to be, and I didn't even know this was a thing, but I guess there are parents that will go to their kids' competitions, and they'll just blurt out the dumbest things, like just get on top of them, choke them, da da da.
Oh yeah.
But they have never once been on a mat before. So I didn't want to. I didn't know that was a thing, but now that I know of it, I never want to be that.
Yeah, sure.
So just like with our fitness, so like my son watches me or my wife work out every day. So like if he were to come here, he would see a weight, he would whatever, like maybe a 5-pound dumbbell, he would pick it up and start like goblet squatting with it. He's not even
Sick.
2, but just because he understands like, oh, that's a thing to work out with. I'm going to go grab it and start working out.
Excellent.
So what I'm going to do with jiu-jitsu is just start bringing him to, to rolls with me, just to have him watch, not even to be like, hey, you're going to come do this one day or whatever. Just get him, what's the word here? Get him exposed to jiu-jitsu to where it's like, so like even with our diet and nutrition and then now jiu-jitsu, it's going to be weird if you don't do those things.
Yeah.
Something from my boy Matt. He runs Acton Academy, a bunch of other amazing programs for kids. But what he says is you normalize what you normalize.
Yeah.
So in our house, it's normal to not eat junk food. It's normal to work out every day. It's normal to do jiu-jitsu. The things that are abnormal, eating junk food, not working out, and not doing jiu-jitsu. So for him, it's just
amen.
It's just going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, like you guys don't do jiu-jitsu as a family? That's weird. That's abnormal.
That's where I hate the idea behind I hate the idea behind the dad bod. I don't like people because that's everywhere. It's like well, I had kids.
Yeah,
that's it. And granted, this is coming from a person who doesn't have kids. I understand that. But I don't like that. I feel like just what you said. I feel like whatever you said as the curve, that's what's expected.
Yeah,
you normalize the situation. You want to be normal.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
not. If I'm not gonna tell. Even more than exercise, the diet thing pisses me off. What parents feed their kids, because
terrible.
That is 100% in your control.
Absolutely.
We go to my client's house. We're designing a gym for this person. I go to their client's house. I open the fridge. I just happen to open the fridge. I see what's in there. They got 3 kids. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to say anything. You know I'm your trainer, so I'm thinking it with my eyes. But what in the world are you feeding your kids? Jell-O packs? Like, so stuff that I haven't seen since, like, I was... And it's the same shit that we were served at schools, which is a totally different conversation. But you, with diet and exercise, but diet is so easy. I'm not going to go to the store wide awake and purchase this. How hard is it to make that decision?
Right. No, dude.
I'm gonna come back to this when Brandon actually has kids, and like if he's feeding them liver, I won't have to say anything. But
You're like, get out of here, take this Jell-O pack.
Yeah.
if I see like a goldfish go to his child, I'm gonna look at him and just reference
a goldfish go to my child. You're probably the one who gave it to him.
That's also fair.
You're not gonna believe what my uncle gave me.
The benefit of being an uncle, he can spoil him.
But when that time comes, I'm sure you understand what this is like. Like, I legit feel like I am Captain America with the fucking shield blocking all the bad food, because dude, like, okay, my son devours steak. Okay, he fucking loves hamburger meat. Like, he eats almost pretty much carnivore. He will have rice, and he'll have like a couple like slices of toast throughout a week. He'll have a couple slices of toast, not in one sitting.
Sure.
In California we have In-N-Out, which is like my religion. So like,
we do too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got In-N-Out.
So my son can eat 2 Flying Dutchmen in one sitting. Like, he is a monster. Okay, and I'm so proud of him for being able to do that.
Yeah.
But when family comes around, and like whether it's a birthday or something,
Thanksgiving,
there's sweets flowing around. Oh, let's just see what he does. Like, nope, he's not having that. Like, maybe when he's older, we can give him some sweets when it's like a conscious decision, and also when he understands what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, right now, he's just going to get electrified by whatever the fuck that sugar thing is. Like, he's not going to he's not even going to understand it. He's like, dude, what is happening right now? Like,
all I know is I want more. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
And I can't go to sleep.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm fucking running on the ceiling. There are some, like, I don't know whether they're studies or just research that has been done where like your fat cells are still developing. So like, he can acquire more fat cells right now if we feed him junk food.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I have read that.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I think BioLane did something on that.
Okay.
About developing youth and how you put on more.
Yeah.
Because your body is literally learning where to accumulate and where they're going to go. Your cells don't disappear.
Right.
They shrink or they grow.
Yeah.
And when you're youthful, it's much more prone to growth, which is why you see obese 10-year-olds. You're like, how in the world did that happen?
Dude,
Well, it took the mom 30 years to get obese, but
Mm-hmm.
she probably wasn't being fed at that age what that kid is.
Yeah.
She's obese, so she's handed her kid the stuff she eats now.
Yeah, she didn't try hard enough like the kid is. Like, dude, it sucks. And so what's a bummer, or I mean, it's actually a really good thing. I'm sure you experience this too. It's like, if I start eating something that I shouldn't be, and he comes up to me and he's like, he points at it because like he wants it. Like, no, you can't have it. Like, oh, why? why can dad have it, but you can't have it? Like, I shouldn't be eating it either.
Yeah.
And then whether it is like at a restaurant or something and he's crying for something, it's super easy to just, all right, you shut up, just here, take it. But who am I, if I do that, who am I doing that for? Am I doing it for him? Like, well, sure, okay, he's going to enjoy it maybe, but I'm actually doing it for myself because I don't want to have to not eat this dessert, and I don't want to have to deal with him crying.
And
right?
explain to him why he doesn't get it. I don't want to, I can see that. Yeah. It's
So instead of doing that, I either don't have it or usually the case is I don't have it, and like me and him, like, we'll go for a walk. So like that's what I have to do in order to keep him from eating like bad food. And it's getting better because, you know, in-laws and my parents are starting to understand, like, okay, he doesn't eat that. I'm like, yeah, don't worry, he's gonna be able to have soda and dessert when he's like 25 years old. Like, no big deal. I'm like, but right now before he's 2, he's just not gonna have it. Like, let's just wait a little bit.
Far too young.
Way too young. You know what I mean?
And I feel like it's worse as kids. Parents feed, because there's this misunderstood argument out there that no, their metabolism is super fast. We can give him junk food. Like, who cares if his teeth rot out? He's gonna lose those teeth anyway. Who cares if he eats that stuff? You're not gonna gain a pound. That's terrible.
No.
That's terrible advice. You're forming habits.
Yeah.
You're forming terrible habits.
I think it's more difficult than that, though, because like even if you go to a place where you think you're getting health food, you really have to either be a registered dietitian, or you have to really understand what's on the label and
100%.
what's in the food, because man, there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of sugars in food that you wouldn't even realize.
Yeah.
Seed oils are everywhere.
Seed oils are in everything.
Shout out to Paul for
Saladino,
his stuff, Dr. P. That is the biggest thing he changed in my life. Was, I mean, my understanding, you can't go anywhere now. You literally, and thanks for ruining it all.
He did the Chick-fil-A one the other day.
I saw that. He went to Chick-fil-A. That was hard to hear.
Everything at Chick-fil-A.
It's bad. It's terrible. They do it with peanut oil. They do it with canola oil and that was even worse. He's like, what about the grilled chicken one? That's your healthy one. Do you do peanut oil? He's like, no, we do canola. He's like, you know that's worse, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, on the little like a fry tray at In-N-Out, it says cooked in sunflower seed oil. And I remember, I think I posted on my story. I'm just like, hey, smart people, is this good or bad? And I think I think he was one of the first ones that responded. Like, and he had a bunch of information. I'm like, so is that good or bad? He's like, it's terrible. I'm like, oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. This was like,
all
he had
of
like 2,000 followers, so it was forever ago, you know? So it was a while back.
Olive oil is really the only one he
extended an olive branch to olive oil, saying that it is of the seed family your most user-friendly option, but still far behind ghee and other animal-based. Who knew? Who else was lied to about butter? Like, we were like, don't ever eat butter. You're gonna get fat.
We were lied to about cholesterol.
Dude, all of it. Yeah,
all of it. It's
cooking with margarine and that shit.
It was the
jet
sugar,
fuel, basically.
Yeah.
It was the sugar industry.
I can't believe it's not butter. That's because it's not butter.
Yeah. I got caught up in the like the zero fat like trendy thing to do, like with bodybuilding and stuff, because I'm like, oh, let me track my macros, and I'm like, oh wow, if I just go fat free, I can save so many calories. Like, let me just do this. And then it's like, dude, I'm farting all the time. Like, my stomach hurts.
I'm bloated.
Like, I get to have fun with this food, but like, I get hungry really fast afterwards. So.
I think the carnivore diet's super fun.
Yeah.
I don't think it's boring at all.
Yeah, it can be for sure. Yeah.
You got to give up a lot of the. Obviously, if you're eating carnivore, you understood that you had to give up bread and pastas long ago. That's probably not even in your peripheral. But if you are taking it seriously, giving up veggies, or at least I'll be honest, I still have a handful of onions with liver.
How dare you?
How dare I? But
are they grilled onions? Like, how do you prepare it?
I prepare everything pan in ghee.
Doesn't seem like you're very dedicated.
It just
yeah.
It's I just like it. I
Those
think it's
onions
delicious.
are trying to kill you, bro.
They're trying to slowly decay my gains.
He has a very interesting timeline of how his nutrition's evolved over time.
Oh, absolutely. I caught on to it way late.
He was doing Chipotle all the time.
Yeah.
Didn't we run the numbers? How many Chipotle?
A lot of
he was
$136,000
$136,000
of Chipotle.
Nice.
And then we got him on the Dolce diet because me and him did a shred once.
Nice.
He didn't stop doing the Dolce diet for what, a year and a half?
At least a year and a half.
About
and
a
that
year and a
was
half.
That's good stuff, dude. Yeah.
so it's okay.
Yeah.
For a shred it is, but the Dolce diet is not. The Dolce diet has grapeseed oil. The Dolce diet has veggies. It's got
Yeah, I thought it was
spinach.
just
It's got
like
oatmeal.
more
No.
Whole Foods, right? I thought that's what it was.
It may have shifted since I last ran it, but the one I had, it had oatmeal. It had onions, tomatoes, spinach, grapeseed oil, flaxseed oil. So you had 2 seed oil based products in that were part of his book. I'm going off his
Okay.
Dolce. He may have come out with something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
And we have to, I think, put it into context. It's for an active shred, so it was for like UFC fighters getting ready to
Weight
cut
cutting
weight
and stuff,
and
yeah.
then still be able to work out during that time.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it was a lot of things that just like completely.
but
but I
if somebody's implementing any kind of like flax and stuff,
Yeah.
it's not a good idea. It's not a good. I don't think it's a good meal plan for either a cut or a sustainable meal plan.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's the best. I think you could cut and carve out carnivore and get to the exact same spot. If you dial in what you're eating to the stuff you know you're supposed to eat for long term, and you want to cut, just chip away at your portion size each meal by meal. That'll get you to a cut. You know how much you're eating. We all do. If you've gotten to the point where you're dialed in enough to know what exactly it is you're eating, and you've cut out seed oils and you've cut out veggies and all that stuff is happening, you know how much you're eating.
Yeah. That's why I focus on 2 meals a day. So like I have a gigantic breakfast. So I'll eat 10 eggs every morning.
Holy damn.
Yeah, every day. It's
Good for you.
Well, except for today because I wasn't at home.
That
But
sucks.
I know. Well, actually, no, I haven't really eaten since.
We got to get something after this. I'm
yeah.
hungry.
Okay,
I'd
dude,
love to do a lift, but I am seriously starving.
I'm so down. I haven't eaten since breakfast yesterday, so I'm good.
I thought I was hungry. Oh my god.
Damn, man. Yeah.
No, but okay. So one, I've gotten comfortable with being a little bit of hungry. You know, like just because you get that hunger feeling doesn't mean like, oh, fuck, I gotta run to Chipotle right now. You know, like you can kind of chill out. So what I do is I'll eat 10 eggs and 4 slices of toast every morning for breakfast, and that fuels my entire day. Now, previously I used to just fast the entire day and then eat like 2 dinners, you know, so it'd be like 4 to 5 hours of straight eating, and it was fantastic. Yeah. But during the day I would get hungry and I'd be like, I can't wait to get home, or like it would kind of take a little bit of my focus away from productivity, because that's why this whole thing started. Was like, although I do kind of enjoy like the dedication of having Tupperware and stuff, like I dig that because I'm such a nerd for bodybuilding. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this chicken and rice and like barbecue sauce, and you know, be angry as you eat it, but it's for the, you know, I'm eating for the results, not
for
the
the
taste.
gains.
Yeah. So although I do dig that, I didn't like that I would stop my work to go heat up more food, eat, and then come back and then go, you know, back and forth. Like
you're exactly what I was doing.
It's such a bummer.
Do you remember when I used to eat like that? When I would eat, like incessantly eat.
Yeah.
Like every 2 hours. Every 2 hours is what you were told if you were a bodybuilder.
Right.
You gotta eat every
Absolutely.
2 hours. It's got to be a small portion over the whole day, and you cannot stop.
Yes.
And that's what I did.
Food, bathroom.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that situation would not work with that bathroom size. I'd have been in there. It would not have worked with the old regimen. Nor would a job. Job gets in the way of your shitting and eating. It's like I have to work somewhere in this equation.
Yeah, get some work done. So again, productivity. So I would just fast, but I would think about it. So now what I do is I eat the 10 eggs, and that fuels my entire day. Like I don't even think about food because it is quite a bit. You know, right after I'm like, ooh, I'm pretty stuffed, but I look forward to it every day. Yeah. And then when you talk about like, you know, the healthy protein and healthy fats and, you know, cholesterol, like whatever your opinion is on that, I think we all are in agreement. Like we don't give a fuck. It feels great. And then at the end of the day, I just eat 1 or 2 big ass steaks, and like that's really my entire day.
That sounds great.
Steak and eggs is not a bad regiment if you're going for that.
And although maybe it's not as exciting as like a pizza made with fat-free cheese and turkey, pepperoni, like I'm not gonna lie, that is enjoyable. It's fun to do that. Because like dude, I get to eat like what? I get to eat pizza and it's all under 800 calories, and you know I get.
I know the calorie thing is so annoying.
I get to drink, you know, root beer zero, and this all fits in my diet. This is great, but the truth is, like, I just feel better now, you know, eating the higher fat foods because I'm not. I'm not eating the low fat meal and then within 5 minutes wondering, what am I going to eat? Like,
do you implement fruit the way that the hardcore carnivore guys do now? I mean, have you made that a part of your?
Yeah. So like what I'll do is like I'll pack like a bag of like a banana or two, and then like an apple or two, and then like a lot of blueberries. I've been focusing a lot on blueberries.
Love blueberries.
Yeah, dude. Dude, they're portable. They're like, you don't have to put them in the fridge. Like, they're legit, dude. Like, that's like a really good hack. So I will eat those from time to time if I have them. And sometimes I'll bring them with me to the podcast, and like I'll forget that they're even there.
Yeah,
and then I'll remember like, oh hell yeah, let's go. And I get all fired up and I eat those. And the reason for the fruit though was because after doing jiu-jitsu, I'm just so depleted. Like I'm trying to eat up as much as I can, and I can't keep up because like the calorie burn in the morning and then trying to fuel the rest of the day is like, it caught up to me pretty quickly. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm not going to stop lifting. I'm going to do jiu-jitsu. And then every other day that I don't do, because I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday jiu-jitsu. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday was my lifting days. Come that first Friday, Mark was like, dude, you got a little jaundice going on here. You're turning yellow. And I'm like, what? He's like, you don't look healthy. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, you need to eat. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, that's why I feel like I'm about to collapse right now, I was literally wearing it on my face that I was so depleted. So
I bet, yeah.
So he was the one that was like, dude, start just leaning on fruit because it's super easy.
Oh yeah.
You can pack them and they taste good, and you're still gonna be able to get some energy from it while
get
not
the glycogen and get the energy from that. And that's the big misconception. People think you need carbohydrates. You need glycogen. That will give you the energy.
Yeah, gotcha.
It replaces it in a sense, and that's what you must have. That.
Yeah. Favorite pre-workout, banana. Just eat a banana before a workout. It's awesome.
Favorite pre-workout is probably for me, I like blackberries and honey.
Okay.
If I want something a little bit more, I'll take blackberries and honey and I'll put it in a Greek yogurt. So you get a Greek yogurt, you stuff it with blackberries, and then you put honey on top.
Dude.
That's a filling ass snack.
Hell yeah.
On that note, we got to get something to eat. Andrew, where
Sounds
can people
good.
find you?
Yeah, dude. Well, so everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you guys again for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, man. So like I've been reiterating on the podcast so much is that like, I am a part of a much bigger thing, so I'm my main host is Mark Bell, my co-host is Nsima Iang, and then there's myself that's producing and co-hosting in the back. So we have this really cool platform. Brandon's been on it. We have a blast. So we learn from just the top people in every field, not just the fitness industry, not just like diet people. Like we talk to doctors. We have Andrew Huberman on a couple times. We've had Greg Doucette on. Like we've had a bunch of people that are just, they're out in the world, they're doing their thing, and we get to learn from them, pick and choose what we want and, leave the rest there and then, put it all together. So that's Mark Bell's Power Project. We're all over the place. Instagram, YouTube is at MB Power Project on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And then, of course, youtube.com/ I think it's Mark Bell's Power Project. Again, iTunes all over the place. And then me personally, I am Andrew Z on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, although I don't really mess with TikTok, but I probably should.
You should.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things. It's like, it's not even on my phone anymore because I started like reading on like Joe Rogan just read all the like terms and conditions. So like I got a little freaked out.
Oh, he's 100% right.
Yeah. So I'm not really messing with that platform, but Twitter's a lot of fun because I, talk shit about sports. And then, Instagram is like the main thing, although I haven't been very active on it lately just because the podcast has been running so well that like I'm just putting all my attention into that.
Yeah.
YouTube would probably be the best and funnest place to follow the podcast.
Outstanding.
Just because we put a bunch of clips on there and the full length episodes, and make sure you guys go back, check out Brandon's episode, and have a lot of fun with that. So again, appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, Eli. Dude, you guys are really cool. I really, really appreciate this opportunity.
Us too, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.